On this episode of Tastecast, we will be discussing game releases for November 2021. We will be discussing games we've been playing, including the Lost Ark beta. If you want to know what we thought of that, stay tuned for that. We will be reacting to the official alpha gameplay of Lies of P, which is a Souls-like game inspired by Pinocchio. And we will be reacting to the Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker official launch trailer for the now delayed Endwalker expansion for Final Fantasy XIV. And then we will be reacting and replying to your comments in prior episodes. But before we jump into that, a couple quick reminders to download and play Knockout City, First Class Trouble, and Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, all offered for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download those, play those, come back at the end of the month for Plus Club to let us know what you thought of those games, and we will let you know what we thought of them. And our game of the month randomly picked is Remnant from the Ashes. We have played this before on PlayStation Plus. We are playing it on PC now, so we will have a conversation about that at the end of the month, find out if the game has improved or not in our experience of both. And yeah, we have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new around here. All right, let's jump into Tastecast. What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 152 of the Tastecast weekly podcast where we talk about all things gaming. My name's Seth, and of course joining me today is Chevy. Chevy, how you doing? You ready to have these conversations about the things we're going to talk about? The things in the thumbnail, the things in the title.
Doing good. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. This is the first Tastecast of the month, so we're going to be talking about game releases. So we should probably just do that. I was going to lead into like a conversation thing, but we could just talk about that. So yeah, first Tastecast of the month, we cover game releases, talking about all things that we might be excited for, or maybe we didn't know was coming out. And yeah, we're gonna go through this list. This list is via GameSpot, so if there's a problem with this list, that's on them. And yeah, let's just do it. So in November, which is this month that we're in right now, we got Giants Uprising coming out on Steam Early Access November 2nd. That did come out. World War Z came out on Switch on November 2nd. Conway Disappearance of Dahlia View, this is a Japanese game, came out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Switch November 2nd. Then we got Time Loader, never heard of it, on PC November 3rd. Just Dance 2022, glad those are still happening for whoever is enjoying those. On Switch, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PS4, PS5, Stadia November 4th. Where Cards Fall on PC and Switch, November 4th. Call of Duty Vanguard came out. You guys remember that? On PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and that came out on November 5th. Then we got Kid A Amnesia Exhibition, PC and PS5 on November 5th. Then we got Forza Horizon 5, which I've heard nothing but stellar things about. Stellar. I haven't heard anybody go like, oh, it's okay. And that came out on PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series on November 9th. Also on November 9th, we got Blue Reflection Second Light on PC, PS4, PS5, Switch. And then also on November 9th, we got Clunky Hero on Steam Early Access, PC, and that was November 9th. I think it's interesting that they're advertising early access.
I was about to say, why is that even on here? It's not released.
Yeah. Well, the top one was also early access, so there must be a new thing they're doing, which I think is fair because sometimes games have been out for like a year and then they're like, it released, and that technically is a release, but they're letting people know you can have access to it, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Evolution 2. I know somebody who's very excited for that game on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, November 9th. Then we got Synthetic 2, which I had no idea they were making. Steam Early Access on PC, November 11th. Then we got Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, November 11th. Then the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition, which adds fishing, guys. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, November 11th. Then we got Shin Megami Tensei 5 on Switch, November 12th. Game & Watch, The Legend of Zelda on November 12th. Does not say what's coming out on, but I'm going to guess
That's Switch. It has to
a
be.
Switch or it's an actual game, like is it like a robot?
Oh, it could be a game.
Yeah, maybe it's like a thing.
That'd be weird.
Maybe it's a thing. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, PC, PS5, Xbox Series, November 16th. We'll see if we get a Chapter 2 on that one. The Waylanders on PC, November 16th. Moncage, or Moncage, PC, iOS, and Android, November 16th. The Last Stand Aftermath. That's the second Aftermath game coming out lately. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series, November 16th. Then, November 19th, we finally get Battlefield 2042 on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. And again, it's on the 19th. And then we got Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl on Switch, November 19th. Legend, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. No next gen, even though you can play them on there anyway. November 21st. Then we got Final Fantasy
No, we don't.
14 Endwalker. Oh yeah, it got
I got
delayed.
pushed back next
It
month.
got delayed. We'll talk about that in a sec. Well, that's supposed to come out November 23rd on PC, Mac, PS4, and PS5. It's still coming out on those, so that's true. And then we got Evil Genius 2, World Domination, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, November 30th. Beyond a Steel Sky, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, November 30th. And then finally, we got Clockwork Aquario, Switch, PS4, November 30th. To clear the air, maybe some people don't know what's going on with Final Fantasy 14.
I mean, the TLDR is it got pushed back 2 weeks. So
And do you know the date? I mean, you could
early access is December 3rd, I believe.
How you feeling about that?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Seems like everybody's fine. I haven't heard anybody complain about it.
Well, I saw plenty of people complaining about it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Huh.
people who took vacation and can't get it switched. So,
Yes.
they're mad because and this part I do understand. They announced a delay 2 weeks before launch. That is a little unfair. That being said,
It is. They did announce that very late.
yeah, and he straight up said he's like, it's selfish. It's a selfish decision on my own. It's like I made that decision. I understand that people have done this, this, and this. I know it's late, blah, blah, blah. I take full responsibility, and hopefully I can earn your trust back. So,
Yeah, luckily the Final Fantasy 14 community is satisfied with the game, so they're not going to be as harsh as like somebody who's already angry about the
Yeah,
game
I mean-
they've been playing for 14 years.
sure. And people obviously, like, I was actually going to be off that week too. I am off that week, I should say. And I can't get my
Guess you're playing
vacation
something else.
adjusted. But I'm just going to play something else. Not a big deal. And Final Fantasy is going to be there for at least 2 years on this expansion. So it ain't going anywhere.
Fair. Speaking of games you're going to be playing that week, we got a bunch of games coming out this month.
Yeah.
Which games are games that potentially could be games that you could game?
So I didn't even know Call of Duty even came out. That's kind of sad.
You know, what's really sad is like 3 days before it came out, people were talking about all this information that came out about Modern Warfare 2022. They weren't even talking about Vanguard.
So it didn't even get any attention.
Yeah.
I'm buying Forza on payday. So that'll be this weekend. I will be picking that up because I don't want to say I'm a fan, but I enjoyed 3 a lot. I skipped 4.
It was good.
And then, yeah, between me already enjoying it and 5 just getting nothing but crazy good reviews, I'm definitely looking forward to picking that up.
And they're really talking about it like it's just like the best version of Forza Horizon in general. Like everything they've done, they've just done that, but more and better.
Great. That's what I need to hear. So,
Yeah, exactly.
I'll probably at some point, but not immediately, pick up Blue Reflection Second Light. I have the first game. I need to beat it still. That is not going to be for everybody. If you're not into very anime-esque stuff, that's going to be not for, like, yeah, that's a weird one for people, I think. I'm definitely not picking up the 10th re-release of Elder Scrolls V, for crying out loud.
You don't want that?
Fuck, I didn't want it the second time it came out.
Fishing. You don't fish in Skyrim?
Dude, I don't care. I can fish in so many games.
True.
Shin Megami, I would love to pick up, but I don't trust my Switch. So
You still having issues?
They popped back up, yeah. When I looked it up on Nintendo's site, they said if it's unfixable, it needs to be sent in for repairs. I'm honestly at this point, if that's the case, I might just try to get an OLED Switch and just transfer all my data over, and then just sell off the other Switch. So
Hmm.
we'll see.
I feel like you could sell it.
With how hard it is to find hardware these days, I probably.
Yeah.
Let's
Be a good
see.
reason to upgrade to the OLED too. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it to just do it. I would need a reason.
I mean, I honestly would be okay with just getting just another Switch, even because I don't play handheld.
100%.
So it doesn't have to be OLED, but if the opportunity were there, I'd probably pick it up. So
Yeah.
um, I want to pick up Battlefield 2042, but I kind of want to wait and see what people say when it comes out.
So here's some fun stuff. The game leaked, I guess. Some people have already gotten into it, and this one guy revealed, and take this with a grain of salt. This isn't a fact, but it's looks pretty legit. Look at the picture. He showed a screenshot of the guns, and there's, as a lot of people say, only 22 guns, and they're very angry about that. Which I get because I guess in Battlefield 5, which is a World War II game, there's 25 guns, which seems weird that the World War II game would have more guns than a futuristic game. My whole thing is 22 guns is still a shitload. I mean, people play Apex Legends, they're in 22 guns in that fucking game. There's a bunch of games out there that don't have 22 guns, but with Battlefield, people assume there's going to be a lot more. So people are really upset with that, but my whole thing I've been concerned about with that game is not the amount of guns, but the amount of attachments.
Hmm.
Because in the beta, it was like 2 attachments per section. I was like, I hope there's way more. Because if there's a shitload of attachments, the 22 guns won't matter because my gun that's the same as yours will be different
For
based off
sure.
of our
Well, you're making
attachments.
a different gun at that point.
And Modern Warfare 2019 did a great job with its balance of amount of guns, but also a shitload of there's like 22 fucking scopes and shit.
Yeah.
And so my M4 is gonna be different than your M4, and so that's where it really comes out. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting tidbit that people are really pissed about 22 guns. I don't know how to feel about it 100%, but if it lacks attachments, I will. That's what will not be great for me.
Like I said, I'm just gonna wait and see once it
Yeah.
releases. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I am interested in as well. I like Pokemon, so I have played those before, so I'm kind of curious to see what these versions of them will be. Um, I would play Endwalker, but I'll have to wait 2 more weeks, which is fine. And that's it.
So we'll be talking about it again next month
Yes.
for releases. Uh Man, so little preview into what we've been playing. I've been playing a lot of World War Z lately because Aftermath came out. Seeing it's coming out on Switch, I think it's really impressive because I don't know how it's running on Switch. The amount of zombies on screen in that game is insane. Obviously, there's something with the engine to make that work, but I'm curious to see how it runs on Switch. I want to see. I know they had to have downgraded it, but by how much? I'm always impressed with what people can get away with on Switch because it's in that weird area where it's like not as powerful as a lot of consoles now, but it is just enough. It's just enough powerful that you can tweak some things to get things around there. And World War Z is a game that I think would be kind of cool to have on the go too. So I don't know if I'm picking it up, but yeah, I'd think about it. Let's see, Call of Duty Vanguard, man, I buy Call of Duty every year. Last year I didn't want to buy Call of Duty, but Josh talked me into it, and we both didn't like it. So I'm not gonna be like he fucking blah blah. We both played. We're like, yeah, this game sucks. So my hype level for Call of Duty is a little low, and then knowing who made this, what games they've made, them returning to shit we've already kind of experienced.
The company's issues this year.
No fucking hype, yeah. The company's issues, and knowing Modern Warfare 2022 is coming out next year, I've decided I'm not going to pick up Vanguard. And typically when we do this segment on Tastecast, I always jokingly say like, "What games aren't you going to pick up?" Right? Like, who the fuck's actually thinking about like, "Well, I'm definitely not buying that." But it's interesting. Call of Duty Vanguard is something I had to tell myself I'm not buying, and it's not necessarily anything against Call of Duty or Vanguard or the people who made it, but everything I'm hearing about it is mediocre, and so I'm not going to waste my time and money. I think my time's more important in the sense because I got a lot of shit I'm trying to play right now. So yeah, I'm not picking up Call of Duty Vanguard, which kind of sucks. I could change my mind, but it would take a lot. So if I knew a bunch of people playing it and they all fucking loved it, maybe I'd do that. But because I'd want to play with them, but I'm not doing it. Forza Horizon 5 is a must buy for me. Like I fucking want to play it so bad, and I would already have played it by now. But I'm really trying to play and prioritize playing games that potentially could be game of the year by the end of the year, so we can talk about it on the show. And Forza Horizon 5 could be in my top three. I don't know. I mean, it's just a racing game, but I mean, everything about it is the highest quality you can fucking get in a game. It looks insane. So I will be picking up Forza Horizon 5 for sure. I just haven't done it yet, and that's on purpose because I'm trying to play some other games right now. But once I clear up time, I will pick it up because I can't wait to play it. Jurassic World Evolution 2, I'm open to playing. We played the first one for Plus Club, I believe, or Game of the Month.
Pretty sure it's the end of the
It
month.
was community pick. It was a runner up, I believe. I think it's been so long. But we
Pretty
but
positive.
we played it and it was a lot of fun. I'm fucking stoked they were able to make a second one. So whether that comes up for something we have to play for the channel or I randomly have time and just pick it up to play it, I'm definitely interested in it. Synthetic 2 is interesting because Synthetic 1 Synthetic is a game that I'd never even heard of. And then one day Josh was like, hey, this is a co op roguelite. Like, we should play it. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I downloaded, I played by myself. It was fun. Josh never showed up. So, I don't, I never got to play co-op, but it's a lot of fun. So I think I'm gonna pick that up. It's one of those like fucking, like $20 games that I don't have to fucking play right now, but if I do, it's probably gonna be fun. So I will be picking up Synthetic 2. Were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say that's just funny because like I picked up Loop Hero at one point for whatever the price was on that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very expensive, and I checked my playtime on it last night because I was just watching some anime and I was just kind of playing Loop Hero on the side, and I have like 70 hours in that game. I was like, played that more than most games, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Well,
crazy.
some of those games are really easy to just passively play. So Um, Grand Theft Auto the trilogy I'm buying for sure. I've already told myself that I know I'm not going to beat these games again. I've beaten all three of them, but I don't think I will. It sounds stupid, and I don't encourage people to do this or purchase games for this reason. But I want to see what they look like.
That that is quite the reason for sure.
So I'm gonna buy them, or I'm gonna buy the trilogy. I'm gonna play a little bit of each game, see what they've done with the graphics. Uh, do the whole like you throw in a fucking Sega game and just kind of remind yourself of what you really dug about it and move on with your life. Like I said, I don't encourage people to buy a game just to look at it, but I do want to experience these games again. I don't think I'm gonna go through and beat all three of them though. Maybe San Andreas. It's the most modern of the three, but me and Sarah were talking about it the other day, and like I was like, I would just play Grand Theft Auto 5. Like all the Grand Theft Autos have just evolved. They have different stories for sure, but like gameplay wise, 5 is like those games, but where Grand Theft Auto is now.
Yeah.
So the idea of going back and playing, like I watched a video on Grand Theft Auto 3 recently, and that, as much as that game is like a revolution in gaming and was huge when I first played it, blew my mind. You look back on it, Grand Theft Auto's come so far, it's crazy. That game's like really arcadey and gamey. Like you're just running around like getting points and fucking shooting, blowing shit up, and like Grand Theft Auto 5 is trying to be like real life. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's crazy that like Rockstar went from like making like crazy fucking rebellious, fun, violent games to like that, but also like trying to make like the metaverse before fucking Facebook. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna pick that up. Definitely curious about that. Not picking up Skyrim. I'm done with Skyrim. I beat it once. Never gonna beat it again. I tried to play it again one time after I beat it, and I was like, I can't do this again. Uh,
Yeah, me too. I tried modding the shit out of it even, and I
yeah.
just I think I made it about 30 minutes. I was like, if I played this.
Morrowind, though, I will fucking play that shit again. I love Morrowind. Shin Megami Tensei 5. We just watched a review on that.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of get an idea of where people are coming from with it. It looks interesting. Um, because I haven't beaten Persona 5, right? So that's the most recent one. I'm not gonna touch this, but I kind of want to. Looks cool. I don't know much about Shin Megami Tensei, but I played an MMO of it a long time ago, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, maybe I'll pick it up at some point. But I really feel like if I'm gonna allow myself to spend the money and put the time into that, I should just go play Persona because Persona seems like such a high quality game that I just have not. I've
Plus,
put like 15 hours into
at
it.
this point, you could probably buy Royal.
Yeah, the bad. If I was gonna go back and play it, I would want to start from the beginning. I would just buy Royal for sure. So
I think I might have to start over. It's been so long, I don't
yeah,
even know what I
it's
would be able to do at this point.
yeah. Let's see. A 100% am not getting Game and Watch The Legend of Zelda, but I am 100% getting Battlefield 2042. I do have some concerns with where they're going with it, but they're very light. And I don't have a reason to believe that it's going to be bad for any reason. But like between like the bugs, hopefully they get them fixed. They will get them fixed eventually, but hopefully it doesn't launch like that. But also, people's concerns on lack of content shit like that. It's a real thing. But I'm still really excited for it too. So, which is such a weird year where I'm like, I'm not buying Call of Duty. I'm not even fucking remotely interested. Battlefield though, really excited. So, definitely be picking that up. Can't wait for the 19th. I hope it launches smoothly, dude, because you're gonna kill so much momentum if you fucking launch that game in a shitty state, EA. I'm telling you, dude, like you pissed people off with Battlefield 5. You pissed off a lot of fucking people. And now you got people excited for Battlefield. So you fixed that until you possibly fucking make them angry because you launch a game in a shitty state. I hope they don't do it.
Also, we're at a time right now where the big three companies are all looking real
All on the
shitty.
shit list, dude.
So
They're all on the shit. No one's a good guy right
this
now.
is your opportunity.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, if EA starts like throwing out fucking good games, no, they're gonna be the good guy. Weird.
Yeah.
That'd be weird as shit. They start really they release like a good Dragon Age. They release fucking Dead Space. They release goddamn
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. They release these games and people like them. That'd be the turnaround. They got that one guy shut the fuck up about multiplayer games years ago. Um, Single player games are dead. Well, that's stupid. Uh,
Yeah, you should talk to Sony maybe.
I would buy Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker if it was coming out this month and if I was caught up. Because 14 is awesome, but I don't play regularly, so I can't have the excitement for the newest
Should at least
content.
beat it. Yeah. If the guy who originally made Final Fantasy can go through and beat the entire storyline in a month,
He probably no lifed it.
the dude is the CEO of a company. I don't know if he can no life
He's
anything.
just taking calls. You can play MMO while taking calls.
The hell's the name of the company? They made Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey. Anyways,
I don't remember. So yeah, a lot of things I'm very interested in, probably going to pick up this month, but only like two major bangers, which is Forza Horizon 5 and Battlefield 2042 are like my highest on that hit list that I have to play. I am, like I said, reserving time for other games right now, but Forza Horizon I will be playing at some point this year for sure. I'm sure I'll only be able to last a week or two. But Battlefield 2042, as soon as it drops, I'm playing. I mean, I think I already bought it. I think I pre-ordered it, which is weird. I don't pre-order shit. But this year alone, I've pre-ordered like 3 games because they're like, pre-order to get into the beta. I'm like, fuck. I don't have to play the beta, but I want to play the beta. So I guess I'll just do it. The games I'm sold on anyway. So anyway, those are the games I'm looking forward to playing, and the one game I'm looking forward to not playing. Let me know in the comments what do you guys think about game releases this month. Are you guys excited for anything? Not excited for anything? Is there anything we missed on this list? Is there something on this list that actually is dope looking and we just don't know what the fuck it is? And you're like, wait a second, dude, you should definitely check out Beyond a Steel Sky. Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, let's jump into what we've been playing. My list is pretty short, so I'm going to start.
okay.
So in the intro, I haven't done it yet, but a little behind the scenes there. But I'm sure in the intro I told you, this is Inception shit right now.
Watch and forget.
Knock, yeah. Now I'm not even gonna say it. They're like, "What the? You never fucking said that." Make sure to play Knockout City, First Class Trouble, and Kingdoms of Re-Reckoning on PlayStation Plus, and yeah, I've already started playing those. That's why I'm bringing those up, because I can't talk about these games, but I have been playing Kingdoms of Amalur and Knockout City. A couple things I'll say without giving any kind of thoughts on my impressions of the game. Really, is I played Knockout City with people in the community, and that was cool. I almost said something that even might hint at what I thought of the game, but it was cool to play with everybody. That was neat. So we should try that again. Got some people together and tried out some very restrictive modes that we'll talk about at the end of the month. And yeah, it's a dodgeball game, so download it if you have PlayStation Plus. Yeah, so the games I have played that I can talk about. First and foremost, the game I've been playing the most.
Don't forget the other game you can't talk about.
Which one?
Remnant.
Oh, it's not on my list. Yeah, we played Remnant. I want to play more Remnant. People already know my opinion on Remnant, but I'm not going to spoil it here in case you're new and you're like, wait, what do you think about Remnant? You got to come back. Or there's a video where we're talking about it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But we played that.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm adding the list now. It's fucking too late. Uh, and yeah, we beat the first zone
Quickly.
very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took our time the first time on PlayStation, and this time around on PC. We're playing on PC this month. Um, which spoiler alert is the way that game needs to be played. Um, but anyway, yeah, we beat the first zone,
Yeah.
and I would like to beat the second zone. I'd like to get a third person in, and
I'm sure that'll be real difficult.
yeah, no, I maybe this weekend we can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's all I have to say about Remnant, but that is our game of the month. So randomly picked. So we'll be talking about that at the end of the month for game of the month. Been playing World War Z Aftermath. If you don't know what that is, a game called World War Z came out a while ago, and they have released a either upgrade if you own the game or a full version called World War Z Aftermath, where they've added two new campaigns. I think other content, I can't remember, and then a new class. They also added a first person mode, which is pretty well done. They didn't like kind of cheap out on that. And yeah, I've been playing the shit out of that lately with Josh and Sarah. The game has crossplay, which is awesome. Not to really reveal Josh's things going on in his life, but he's got something going on. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I talk about it. Where he can't walk very well, so he's not able to play on his PC. So he's been sitting around playing console games. And I was like, this game's perfect because you can play it on fucking PS5. I can play it on PC.
Yeah.
Most games should have that. It's so fucking dope. Anyway, we've been playing that, and World War Z is essentially the natural evolution of the Left 4 Dead genre, where you start at a point and you got to get to the end point and survive massive waves of zombies. The one thing that World War Z does that other games do not do is the sheer amount of enemies on screen at once. There's literally reminding myself playing it again. There's parts where you just see in the background just looks like a river of zombies. And you're like, oh, it's like the background, right? And then it comes into the foreground and there's like running up, climbing fences and shit, piling up on walls. And I'm like, oh yeah, this game renders a lot of fucking enemies at once. It's crazy.
Gross.
Yeah. It's pretty dope though. There's one point where we were playing and we're getting our characters leveled up. It has a bunch of classes and every class has skill trees, which is awesome. And we started playing on hard, I believe, and it's a pretty substantial jump from normal. Normal, I was like running ahead, just murdering shit, just getting like 1,100 kills and shit. It was ridiculous, but it's crazy. In that game, I can have like 900 kills, and somebody else can have like 700 kills, and someone else can have like 600. It's like that's a lot of zombies that got killed.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were playing, and everything was going pretty good, and then Josh got attacked by like five zombies. They took him down. At the point where I went to run and get him, I just see a bunch of zombies flowing out of doorways, and I was like, "Holy shit!" So I start heading towards these stairs, and where they're coming out at, there's like an edge, like a cliff, and Sarah's there shooting down because they're supposed to be protecting something down there. And I just see literally a river of zombies moving at her. I go up the stairs because some are chasing up the stairs. I'm shooting them, and I look out and I see her name, but I see zombies flying off this cliff, and she's just in there. And literally in my brain, I'm like, I don't know how you survive that. She's dead. So I was like, well, I'm fucked because Josh is dead. She's gone. She's disappeared in this river of zombies. And I was like, I pulled out. There's like heavy guns that do a lot of damage. I pulled out this big heavy machine gun. I started just fucking unloading into that crowd just to get kills because I knew once they settled, they're all gonna come at me. I died, but anyway, that's a scenario that can happen in the game. But we've been playing it. We've been making an effort to start from the first level, play through all the levels in the game. We got to some of the new content, and then we restarted at the beginning again and started playing on hard because normal got way too easy. And It's been a lot of fun. The games, man, World War Z is such a fucking underrated game. It's crazy. Especially at a time where Back for Blood's out and World War Z Aftermath came out like a little bit before Back for Blood. It's interesting to see that in the absence of Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, the genre evolved in a way and they all follow this trajectory. And then Back for Blood comes out and it doesn't follow that trajectory. It goes, no, this is Left 4 Dead, but we're adding cards. And that's awesome, but they feel like different things to me now. It's really
Mm-hmm.
interesting because I really like Back for Blood, but World War Z is where I was getting accustomed to the genre going because you have all these campaigns that are on all over the world with different characters. There's so many characters in the game, it's ridiculous, but they're all locked into. There's one that's in the United States where you play as these four characters. I think there's five of them, but you get to pick four of them, obviously, because you have four people. And it's going through New York through the subways and stuff. It's the story of World War Z there.
Okay.
And then there's another mission that's in Russia, and you're playing Russian characters. There's one in Japan. It's really neat because it's like super detailed and very Japanese. And you're going all over the world and stuff. And then you got all these guns you can get upgrades for, and then you have characters with perks and stuff that the classes that you're unlocking stuff for, and that's something you also see in another game I liked a lot, Alien Fireteam Elite.
Mm.
Vermintide for a while I thought was like the best evolution of Left 4 Dead because
Right.
it offered upgrades and stuff like that. But now you got games like this that just offer more. So it's been really cool to play this game again. I'm glad Aftermath has come out because it's given me a chance to not only revisit the game but also introduce it to some people who weren't playing it. Um, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I barely dabbled in the new campaigns, like I said though. We got to the new ones, and I was getting kind of worried that I was going to get bored of the game because it was too easy. And I was like, we got to up the difficulty. Um, so we're back to like moving slower and staying together and stuff like that. Because it got to a point where we're just running off, doing our own thing, shooting shit. And if you get grabbed by something that holds you down, it wasn't like be like, oh, I'm on my way. 1 second. Um, so yeah, the new class they added is the Vanguard class. They have a shield that's really interesting. If you press the special button, you pull out a shield, and any enemy that hits it gets shocked and bounces off of it, but has a certain amount of charges before it goes away. So it's really good when you feel like using it, because most time I don't use it because I have to. Normally I'm like, I have the shield, I should probably use it. There's one time though where I got attacked by a bunch of zombies in a really tight fucking room and nobody was with me for a second. So I put my back in a corner and just pulled my shield out. And then all these zombies came up and they started hitting it and shit. And I was just sitting there going like, okay, I don't know how long this is gonna hold out for. And then Josh Sarah came in and fucking started shooting zombies. I'm like, okay, cool. But the thing I do like about the shield is if you hold the special button, you actually go into a charge and run through everything.
Oh, okay.
And there's a cap on how many zombies you can kill, but you can still run through them. I have an upgrade that allows me to kill 14 zombies while running through a crowd.
After that, it just pushes them out of the way. I take it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So that move's cool. And then the best thing about that move is later in the tree, there's a perk that if you stop that charge 2 meters, within 2 meters of anybody who's down, they instantly get back up. So it's a really good way to run across the map and get someone back up.
It's like a makeshift defibrillator.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. I never even thought about it like that, but it's electricity, so
Yeah.
yeah, maybe that's what's going on there. Um, but yeah, it's a cool class. The only thing I don't like about it is all the classic classes in the game all have. So there's like starting guns, and then throughout the map you find guns that are
Okay.
better or whatever. And then all the classes have perks where you can have like 25% more health, blah 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 stamina, or start with the AK-47, or start with the blah blah blah. There's an upgrade to start the match with a better gun. Vanguard doesn't have that. So with the Vanguard, I always start with the fucking shotgun, and it's the shittiest shotgun in the game, and I fucking hate it. So that's like the worst thing about him. Other than that, though, it's a fun class, but it doesn't feel very team oriented outside of the run and res thing that you can do,
Mm-hmm.
which was great once I unlocked it. But everything else is more so like, I'm having fun hitting things with a shield and just doing that kind of thing. And then I've started up or updating. I've started fucking leveling up the exterminator class, which seems to benefit traps in the game, but also has a lot of survivability to them and a lot of killing power, which is interesting. There's one class that's like an assault class, pretty much. It's just gun perks,
Okay.
but the exterminator has like a lot of moves that like if an enemy pins you, you instantly rise back up, and then have like a 60-second cooldown for that to happen again, which is pretty fucking generous. So there was actually a situation where on hard, Josh shot a fucking arrow, explosive arrow, into a zombie next to me. It blew up, knocked me back, and then something infected me. And in this game, if you let infection go, you just die instantly, turn into a zombie.
Oh, okay.
So when infection happens, you have to disinfect, which makes you stand there. So I'm infected after getting blown up by Josh's arrow, and then essentially the game's equivalent of a tank runs in, grabs me, slams me on the ground, starts just boom, boom, boom while I'm infected. I'm like, how am I going to disinfect? I'm being fucking killed. I'm like, it's over. I'm dead. And then while it's happening, my game's like fucking fading. All of a sudden, I just stand up and I'm like, what the fuck? And I look around, everybody's dead. And I'm like, whoa, like, why am I up? Who got me up? I start shooting everything, whatever. I kill everybody. And then fucking, well, I kill enough to get over, and I got one guy up, and then we all got back up. And the whole time I was like, what happened? Why did I get back up? I was going through my perks. It was that pin move thing. Like if he didn't pin me, I probably just died from infection. But because he pinned me, it allowed me to get back up.
Bounce
And
back.
yeah, it's shit like that I fucking love. It's got really cool perks in the game. There's also one called Drone Master. Um, that you have a drone that comes out and it just like shocks a zombie every once in a while, but later you can put like a pistol on it, and later it can shock like 15 enemies at once.
Oh, okay.
So, but it seems kind of selfish because it's not helping the team, it's helping me. So yeah, I don't know. I have to always try and I'm always trying to find a class that's more beneficial for the team than just protecting me in a game like that, especially with how hectic that game can get. But overall, World War Z Aftermath is awesome. Like I really like it. In fact, I think it is the best or one of the best top three games in that genre. It's very fun. If you've ever even thought about picking it up, you should. And with the cross play, it is impossible not to be able to play with friends unless you play on Switch. I doubt it does cross play, but with everything else. But other than that, I mean, you can play with fucking everybody, and that is dope as shit. It's also got fucking PvP where you're shooting at each other and there's zombies on the map and stuff, and it's really good. Like I played that on console a little bit. I haven't played on PC yet, and it's got a horde mode. I haven't touched it yet, but and it's got a huge campaign you can sink hours into and a shitload of fucking difficulty. So anyway, enough selling that game to you guys. If you're not gonna pick it up, you're not gonna pick it up, but you should pick it up because it's really fucking good. Unless you got it for free on PlayStation Plus, then you should be playing with me. Because I think we played on PlayStation Plus, didn't we?
I don't remember playing that game.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
I could have swore we fucking played. Anyway, uh, play it. It's cool. I've also been playing Tales of Arise. I'm finally getting around to playing that. I think I've put about 2 hours into it so far, so nothing. But the visual style is very cool. I fucking love the art style. I mean, it's anime, but and it's Bandai Namco anime, so they all kind of have a similar look to them. But in game looks good. I love the anime cinematics. Nowadays that's probably not that big a deal, but it's still really cool to not see like CGI, but to see like animation. Um, and the cutscenes where it is in engine are actually choreographed really well. There's like a fight scene that happened. I was like, oh wow, they actually like
Nice.
put a lot of work into this. Soundtrack's fucking amazing. I think that's what sold me on this game. I keep telling the story of when I was at E3. Fucking, I had to stand next to the Bandai Namco screen for like an hour and a half, and every once in a while that fucking Tales of Arise fucking trailer would start playing, and the music was just so good, and the visuals are so cool. I'm like, I have to play that. and I'm playing it now, so that's cool. The music's still really good, even like running around areas, grabbing stuff for recipes or just killing things to grind. I really enjoy the music a lot. I find myself enjoying JRPG music a lot, though. I don't know what they're all doing that has the JRPG sound, but it's been happening since like Sega and Nintendo. But yeah, Final Fantasy,
You say
fucking
I love RPG music, man.
yeah. What's weird though, because like it's not all the same dude, so it's like
No, but
it's just
they're all trying to capture like
fanciful fucking
similar things, right? You got you know the music that's going to be repeatable and effortlessly.
yeah.
Is this does this invoke exploration because it's a world map or you're going through a zone type thing? Okay, combat. We got to make it kind of stressful, but also like heroic. A fanfare when you win, stuff like that. So there are definitely like obviously tropes within the
Yeah.
game. But then, of course, because it's music, whoever's making it gets to be creative too. So,
I also think because of the nature of JRPGs and like the visual styles typically and some of the subject matter specifically in like Final Fantasy that they also lean into they want to make like fun music, but they want it to be fantasy, but also there's like they're aiming to make beautiful music as well.
oh yeah,
Which you could argue like any song you like might be beautiful to you or whatever, but like it seems like they're aiming to make, you know, classical music, but also modern. Which has a sound that you don't get from like if you're playing a racing game or fighting game, you're gonna get some kind of like, modern rock or rap
hmm.
stuff going on. I guess fighting games not really, but they always have cheesy soundtracks. And
Wait,
then games like if you're playing The Last of Us, it's trying to build atmosphere, so you're not getting like a soundtrack that stands out in that way. You get
right.
something that's atmospheric that adds to the whole thing in which you do appreciate for different
For sure.
reasons.
It's a completely different kind of music, though. I mean,
But when you're playing a JRPG, like it's like a star of the
you're getting a
experience.
soundtrack to the
Yeah.
game versus like something like I think Last of Us would be a good example, or a lot of Western games in general where they're trying to give you it's supposed to be like enhancing the visuals and
Well,
stuff
like
like
Red
that.
Dead Redemption 2, when we're
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
RDO, like the music's good. I think it's great, but it's not like I wouldn't sit there and listen to it somewhere.
But and I think that's the big difference is like a lot of times and obviously everyone's taste in music is gonna be different. So this is obviously subjective before people get upset. But
Mm-hmm.
um
No,
most of the
is that on
time,
here?
well sure, some random person could
Yeah.
pop in the video. So
Oh, I'll be talking to them in the comments.
but I mean I buy Final Fantasy soundtracks
Yeah.
to listen to when I'm not playing the game. So I mean there's a difference for sure.
Yeah, they pretty much always nail it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I digress. Tales of Arise, another JRPG that has a great soundtrack. Another one that people might not think about is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a fucking great score, dude. It's so good. The
I
music's
hear
so
pretty
good.
hit or miss on the gameplay, which is obviously going to be person's taste, but
Yeah, I can see how it'd be kind of weird for some people. I think it's really cool, but
yeah.
it's also weird. It's a weird combat system. Um, but yeah, story wise, so far, it's very anime. It's very straightforward. Um, it felt reminiscent in a weird way of Resident Evil Village because they're like, you got to kill the five lords. And I was like, okay, we're doing that, huh? But yeah, it's trying to build the world up at this point in the game, so I'm not very far into it, and the characters are pretty anime archetypical. But I don't mind that. It's fun. I hope the story gets to a place that feels more impactful. It's very early in the RPG. I'm sure fucking in like 20 hours, that's when I'll start getting the meat of the story
You'll
because
also unlock shit every like 10
in
hours.
in a JRPG, like it just takes a while. Like you're getting to know characters in the world
Yeah, for
for the
sure.
first like 20 hours of the fucking game. Um,
I was
combat,
like 80 hours into Persona 5, it was still unlocking stuff. I was like, God
yeah.
damn, dude.
Well, in Dragon Quest,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
fucking, you're like 40 hours into that game. It's like, here's a feature. It's like, sick. Like I wasn't doing this before. Now I can. This is rewarding. Um, Combat in Tales of Rise is very straightforward, but I like it. I think a lot of people will be able to enjoy the combat in it. I think if you're looking for a more classic JRPG experience, you're not getting it here, but I think you'll accept this. And I think somebody who's not into JRPGs, likes action games, will also accept this. So I think it's a safe bet, but I don't think it's particularly super interesting. It's pretty much just action. You get into an encounter, you're in like a circle, and you have to run around and hit action buttons to hit the
Mm.
enemy, and then you have moves that recharge when you use them, and then every once in a while, your character and your party members have a special that you can cast, and
So it's literally like Nino Kuni.
yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
And yeah, it's you get new moves and you can make new combos, stuff like that. But it's very straightforward, but it's not boring. It's just I wish it was a little more JRPG interesting. It's not very inventive, but it works. And the world is gorgeous. I love the way the game looks. It's very fantasy and very colorful, which is nice. A lot of games are so like drab looking that these vibrant Bandai Namco games I always think are really nice to look at. And yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I just don't have the time investment in it to say if I'm super into it or not, but I'm definitely enjoying the very little I've played. So I'm looking forward to playing more of Tales of Rise. And then lastly, I've dabbled a little bit in Lost Ark. They have been doing the, I think, closed beta. You can get
Close
access
technical beta.
to the game by either signing up for it or purchasing the support packs for the game. It's going to be free to play when it
Fund the
comes out.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I bought the $25 one.
Same.
There's like a
Silver.
15, 25, 50, and 100 or some shit.
Yeah, though I've heard nobody recommend getting the $100 one.
I'm
A
not
lot of
doing that.
people
It's a
say
free
the
to play
gold
game.
one is like the sweet spot. So
Yeah. I just wanted access to the game,
same.
but I also wanted some perks, so I went with the $25 version of it. If you don't know what Lost Ark is, it is a game that should have came out like 7 years ago. Though luckily, I kind of like the idea of them coming out late here because then we get all the content that has come out. Any game that's like an MMO or that is an MMO needs time to kind of find itself, and the game's probably had that time, so we're getting that product, so that's good. But it is a top-down MMO.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I remember for so long people kept calling it MMO, MMO. I'm like, dude, it looks like Diablo. Like they say it's an MMO. I'm like, yeah, but it just looks like Diablo. Like you're just gonna run into other people, and then you play it, and it's literally an MMO from a top-down perspective.
Yeah.
It's barely Diablo outside of that you're looking top-down, and sometimes you kill mobs not as quick as Diablo. Um, I mean, you're sitting there hitting your moves, going through your fucking all your moves, fighting people. It's just the same as you would do in an MMO. It's just top down, so that's really interesting. Um, the game has been out for a little bit, but as a first time player, I think it looks really good. It does pick and choose when to look good though, because
Agreed.
NPCs don't look that great, but my character does.
I think
Um,
it's a pretty typical like Eastern game design thing anyways, like how your character will always look like really good and environments will like look really good, but then like side characters and like pets and stuff like that look eh.
yeah.
So
Well, and I get it too. Why would you spend as much time on everything
yeah.
as the things that really matter? Though, oddly enough, I saw gameplay of this is kind of off topic, but on topic. Call of Duty Vanguard, and that game's gorgeous looking. But they're also picking and choosing because there's one point where it showed like it was nighttime, there's fire, there's a mud puddle, and you saw everything in that mud puddle reflected. All these characters look really good, the lighting looked good, the fire looked amazing. And then in the next scene, I watched him running through a field, and every piece of grass looked like low detail. And then he ran up to a rock that had like almost no texture to it. It was like old PlayStation looking textures on it,
Oh,
and a lot of the
weird.
a lot of the grass was like coming out of the rock and going into the rocket stuff. And I'm like, man, they really fucking made that one scene look amazing, and they did not give a shit about this
When
field.
you got multi-hundred people working on a game, some people care more than others, I guess.
Yeah, I just feel like at that point, if you're that AAA, you shouldn't be making fucking areas look like that.
Sure.
It was kind of surprising because the rest of the game looked really amazing. So, anyway, yeah, Lost Ark's looking good. It's got a good amount of classes that all have subclasses, so that's cool. It's got classes based off of being male or female, which I think is also very interesting. At first, it's like male gunner, female gunner. I was like, well, I'm gonna be the male, and then I looked at them, and they had different moves, and then they had different subclasses, and I was like, oh, so I will have to play a female character, which is cool. Typically, I play male characters because I mean that's just how I typically play games. But
Yeah.
um, that like it's like no, you can't have an experience like this without playing the male or the female. Like oh, I gotta make one of each, I guess. Um,
It's like reminiscent of like picking like a named character in a
yeah,
game. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, because the male gunner default is pretty much how you'd assume he'd look and act and the moves he'd have. But then the female one's like a cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's like got like revolvers and
Or like
like
a
a
mercenary type or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Well, in her trailer though, she's like a gunslinger, like
Mm.
she's on a horse like shooting and shit. And so they're like they are different characters.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though you get to customize your character. And I think the character customization is actually pretty
Well,
good.
like Vindictus,
Yeah.
the character technically has a name.
Yeah. It's weird how much this game is like Vindictus.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it is.
really fucking weird. Um, because they're not the same game. They're not the same kind of game.
And
But
the only thing they share is the country of origin. So
Country Origin, they're both technically hack and slash, but not in the same way.
not the same way. Yeah.
Because Vindictus, if you don't know, is a third person action game. And this is a top down isometric
Action game.
Diablo action
Yeah.
game, but MMO. Um, yeah, so anyway, customization I think is actually a lot better than I thought it'd be. This is an Asian game for sure because
Yeah.
my character is in booty shorts and a bra. That was her starting gear. I picked the female gunner because the gunslinger looked really fucking cool, and so far she is really cool. But I'm not stoked about the armor, and not for any like you shouldn't have a half naked chick in your game. I don't
Just
care.
not the
I
style
don't give a
too.
fuck about that. But it just takes me out of the game when my character looks like she's ill equipped to take on combat because she's more worried about trying to look cool to certain perspectives. I don't know. It's
I mean, the male gunner straight up looks like a Devil May Cry character. So.
yeah, yeah. I think some of the style choices are kind of lame, but I've always maintained, and nowadays it's so much better. But I've always maintained like unless the whole world seems like it, like in Final Fantasy, like my male monk is wearing a belly shirt a lot of times. So that's just the world. Monks dress like that.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing a game and like I'm playing a knight and the knight is like he's all decked out in armor and shit. He looks like he's just ready for fucking battle and the girl's like in a skimpy outfit or whatever. I'm like, dude, come on, that's so lame. Like you don't look like you're ready for combat. Anyway, I digress. I haven't had to think about that in years and playing this game, I was like, oh yeah, there's a whole place where they still, do this kind of thing. Um yeah, so I'm not super stoked on her look, but the moves are awesome. She has a lot of well, it's interesting. The She switches weapons, so this game has a really interesting combat system. If you're thinking it's Diablo, it's not. I mean, it kind of is, but it's kind of not. You use QWER and then ASDF for your moves, and then each class has a Z move at the very least, which is typically some kind of meter you charge up or something that you wait, and then you can use it, turn into a monster, whatever the fuck. But the female gunner has Z and X, which is really hard to get used to, but I've gotten used to it, I think. Where you can cycle through dual wielding, some kind of long range rifle like a sniper rifle, and a shotgun. Each gun for the female gunner has its own set of fucking moves, which is a lot of moves. And so I get to switch between those three things, and it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot to take in. If you're expecting this game to be Diablo, it's way more complicated in its combat, which sounds wild, but it is.
So Diablo becomes pretty brainless after a while, though.
Oh yeah, no, you just get the certain moves down and you just fucking spam them and lawn mow through things until you die. Um, and this game feels a little more methodical in its combat, more MMO like,
Yeah.
where you have to think about what you're doing. Um, and yeah, so I played her for a little bit. The game's got mounts, which is cool to see. Like I said, it's they're taking it serious as an MMO. And so you're going in these zones, but there's other players in those zones, so it doesn't feel like Destiny where you're just running into like a group of three and then you never see anyone for a
Phasing
while.
things
Yeah.
out, yeah.
There's literally just people running on questing. Which is cool. And Yeah, combat I like a lot. Although the game starts you out with like fucking so many moves already. I was like, dude,
6, I think.
what do I have to unlock left? Like, and
A lot.
I know there are moves, but I'm just like, that's a lot of fucking moves to just give you instantly.
Yeah, you only get 8 hotkeys, so eventually you have to pick and choose and make a
Yeah.
build. But it
That's
does
what I'm looking forward to.
start you off with, I believe, 6 per character. I could be wrong. I only played 3 characters, but it
Well, it's interesting because so the female gunner, I with my pistols have like a full thing of skills, but then my shotgun has one skill unlocked, and then my sniper rifle has one skill unlocked.
yeah. But you also are, obviously every class plays different too. But you're playing something that has multiple skill sets involved in it too. So
I feel
it
like it
kind
was
of
a
falls out of the.
class they added later because it feels a lot more. Because I played some other classes and it feels a little more
Well,
complicated.
it kind of reminds me of like old school MMOs, specifically, Asian free to play ones, where there's like the easy difficulty characters, the medium difficulty characters, and the more advanced difficulty characters. And now
Yeah, sure.
because the balance is messed up, but the play style is more
Yeah.
complicated. So you didn't pick the fucking me monk me hit with rock. You went, oh, I'm a human with fucking my synapses firing off and shit. So,
Mhm.
because yeah, everything I've played doesn't have that. So
Yeah, and I did try out other classes, but just bringing up the female gunner out of the class I have played, it's my favorite one so far, which is funny. It's the first thing I picked. I was like, that one looks the coolest. I played it, and so far I'm like, I really like this one. I also played the assassin for a little bit, and like I said, these all have subclasses, so they turn into other things, and they're oddly pretty different looking, even though they still maintain an assassin feel. But yeah, I played the assassin, and this game is very flashy, so
oh yeah.
much to the point that every class is very flashy, and so I'm not as impressed with each class's flashiness, but more so their move sets, if that makes sense, because I feel like they're all so flashy that like it all seems almost the same, but very different. Their moves are different, but just the amount of fucking effects going on is just wild. So the assassin has a lot of what you'd expect moves. I mean, a lot of flipping around, a lot of fucking bouncing around, attacking quickly, and throwing things, stuff like that. But my problem with the assassin is their damage output, at least in the beginning, felt really weak. And so, like, I had all these really cool flashy moves that I felt like was taking forever to kill enemies. And I was like, shouldn't an assassin be like, high crit or something like that?
Probably an end
Um,
game.
yeah, probably. I'm sure it evolves into something, and then of course the subclasses that that's going to change up how they play. But I wasn't super impressed with the assassin, and then I played male gunner, and I made a artillerist, I think they're called, and they are essentially at a Monster Hunter. They have a
Wow.
giant fucking gun they carry with two arms, and when they attack, half the time they don't move or they move very slow. Um, and they essentially shoot like fucking missiles and huge shotgun rounds out of that thing. And their attacks are slow, but they seem to hit crowds really easily. They almost seem like the crowd control. I've been playing him, and I think he's a lot of fun. It's not really pacing wise my style, but the aesthetic is fucking cool.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of across the board. I think most of the classes' aesthetics are pretty cool outside of some of the way they dress. The artillerist dress is cool though. I like the way it looks, so that's a plus as well. Um, and then I dabbled a little bit in the monk. It's got a hand-to-hand combat character. I think a male and a female, doesn't it?
Yep. I think the male only has one though.
Yeah, it was interesting because like male gunner has three subclasses and female gunner has one subclass, and then fucking female monk I believe had three subclasses, and male
Mm.
monk has fucking one subclass right now. So it's interesting how they kind of switched that up. Um, and I did not play male monk because female monks got the fucking three subclasses, and they're all fucking cool
They're
looking.
pretty cool.
I was looking at all three of them, like, I don't know which one to fucking pick. The first one essentially seems like what you'd expect an advanced monk would look like. It's a lot of really quick, like, martial arts stuff that looks fucking sick. A lot of really cool moves. Like that one, I was like, I did make one of those.
I think the first one too also is you have like orange and I think it's green moves or whatever, and you use orange moves to build up the green bar.
It's kind of like a yin and yang thing.
Yeah, and then you get access to the green, but the orange go away, and
Yeah, it's a
you have to go
balance.
back and
Yeah.
forth. Yeah, yeah.
And then I made one of that, and I also made the second one.
That's the one I have.
which is also martial arts like, but it seems like a lot more brutal. The hits are a little slower, but they seem a lot more impactful, almost like karate or something like
Yeah,
that.
no charges with that one.
Yeah,
He's a dancer.
it yeah, and it just seems it just looked brutal. I
Oh,
really
it's fun.
dug the way it looked. I played it a little bit and I'm digging it. It's just interesting that they're able to take monk and then create three martial arts subclasses from it that all seem different. Because like I said,
Hmm.
the first one very traditional, fast paced martial arts stuff, and then the second one's like this brutal, hard hitting martial art, and then the
Just huge
third one,
gauntlets, yeah.
yeah, and then the third one is like almost like a magical. Um,
Spirit Weaver or something like that.
like a chi thing going on.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're doing like a lot of like really cool
Nice
like
shape to a Kamehameha.
whimsical like wuxia looking moves and stuff, and a lot of like elements and stuff going on,
Mhm.
which is really neat. So the subclasses are really well thought out, and the game's been out for a while, so I'm sure they've had plenty of time to tweak them, work them, make them into something that are worth playing because they really all seem really interesting. Outside of that, I didn't really play. Was it like a paladin or something and a warrior?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's the two-handed weapon user pretty much,
Yeah,
except for Paladin only uses the one-handed, but they use a book and a or a sword and a book, which I saw people in chat complaining that they didn't use a shield. I was like, they're more like a holy paladin. It makes sense to me that they would use a book, but
yeah.
whatever. Um, more like a barbarian style where yeah, it's just a two-handed, sword or whatever. And I can't. The third one is now. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, I didn't play them. Um, and yeah, it's set up like an MMO. Like you go to the city, there's quest givers there. You repair your gear. The tutorial is not that interesting.
It's very dialogue heavy.
Very dialogue heavy. The whole game is, and to be honest, I don't know what the story is, and I'm not paying attention. So maybe I'll do that when the game actually comes out. But as of right now, I don't care about what's happening.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem when you play beta and you don't get to keep characters. You're just kind of like, I just need to
I just
experience
want
the
to
game, man.
get in and see
Yeah.
if I'm gonna play this or not. Um, so yeah, maybe I'll give it a chance then. But everything I was getting, all the snippets, I was like, I don't know if this is like even something I should care about. Um, and yeah, we played together, so
Yes.
we can kind of transition into what you've been playing. Um, but co-op was fun.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to call it co-op,
Questing
yeah,
together.
questing together. It all seemed to work. We couldn't do a dungeon together yet,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
guess it's only a
sure.
max level, from what
Well,
I understand. Yeah, the story dungeons are all single player, I guess, but
ugh, I hate that.
and then there's co-op dungeons.
But yeah, quest together is as simple as you would assume an MMO would be. You just get the same quest, you run around, you kill shit, you do things.
They're good. They do a good job of funneling you in a direction though, which I appreciate. There's not a lot of backtracking.
Oh
So,
yeah, for sure. And finding what you need to do is very simplistic,
mhm.
very easy.
Yes.
It has a good job of like having like a circled yellow one and like an orange two and a blue three on
Yeah,
the
go
map.
here.
And where that dot's at, it'll show you the zone of where that quest is at as well. So
Yeah.
there's no confusion. It's actually kind of nice. I do like an immersive MMO where you have to think a bit, but in a game like this where the point is the fucking combat and the action, I don't want to waste time on figuring shit out. So I do appreciate they know what they're doing with the game. And so far, I haven't seen any auto play features, which is something I would expect from a game like this, possibly. But
Well, if it comes out on phone, it will. But
yeah, for sure. But like Black Desert has stuff like that. You can just let that game play itself. Um, so I was worried this game might follow in those footsteps. But so far, unless I just haven't found the feature, I haven't seen it. So that's nice. Because if it has that, it's gonna be hard for me to want to play it. Um, and yeah, I'm digging it. I definitely will be playing when it comes out. I don't know if I'm like super fucking pumped for it when it comes out, but it does scratch the MMO itch for me in a really interesting perspective, and it feels different and fresh enough that doesn't feel like it feels like it could be a B MMO for me. Like it's something to play
yeah.
while playing another MMO that wouldn't take away too much from playing like your main MMO.
Plus, I think it has PvP, so if you're interested in that too, that is in the game.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that. I didn't try that, but
I don't know either, but I know
PvP in
people
that
do it.
perspective is typically not that fun for me. But there was a game, Battle Right,
Yeah.
but that game doesn't play like Battle Right. But Battle Right, I think had really fun PvP.
I'll say this is an MMO, so I mean, if you're in MMO combat, not you specifically, people in
Yeah.
general, um, It's just the perspective's different, obviously.
Yeah,
So
except for clicking to move and clicking to attack with the mouse. Outside of that, it's the same thing. So
it's very hotkey heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it so far?
So yeah, I mean, without going through, you know, necessarily all the same stuff, I agree with everything you said about like the game itself. I think the game is fun. I think it, feels it feels good. I think uh, is a lot more MMO like than I was expecting, which I'm not complaining about because I'm always looking for more MMOs to play. Not necessarily to play them all, but like there needs to be more out there so that the genre can continue to evolve. So I think the shining part of this game is the combat,
Yep.
with every class feeling different and playing differently. It definitely makes the gameplay loop entertaining. So even if the quest is, go kill 5 of these, go kill 8 of these, but your typical quests you have in these type of games, I'm not thinking about it because I'm enjoying the combat,
Hmm.
which I think is really important. It's the same kind of the same thing I said in New World, and I don't think that works for everybody because I think New World is a lot more simplistic in its combat than this game is because you only have three hotkeys
100%.
versus
Yeah.
8, and there's no like kits and builds the same way.
Mm,
Um, but because it's action oriented, it's easy to just kind of keep doing it. This is the same kind of idea because it feels very action oriented. It's really easy to just kind of keep doing it, and I don't ever feel like burnt out doing it. I played my first character, which I really like. I'll probably play when the game launches in March. Is the Paladin.
that's wild. It's coming out in March.
Yeah, I mean it's like the third beta they've done. I think so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
So do we get access to the next betas?
all of them. Yeah,
Okay.
if they do more.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, play the Paladin. It is a sword and book user. You literally melee attacks are on cooldown, and then spells use MP. Like it has both. It's really interesting in that regard. Apparently, it also is one of two classes in the game that can heal. I never got anything like that, but I'll eventually be able to heal the group. I do have one buff, my Z and X
Yeah.
move. Z will buff me. X will buff party instead.
That was one thing that was an early indicator for me that this wasn't a Diablo game because like Diablo isn't really a game or games like it. They're not really games where you like support each other that much.
No, you just both try to hit DPS
Yeah,
checks and burn
exactly.
through. Yeah.
Yeah, and you fight the boss and you kill it and you're getting your loot. And that I love that formula. That it
For
needs
sure.
to be its own thing. Obviously, I don't want anything to change. But playing this, I was like, oh, you're like a legit like paladin.
Yeah.
We're like you're actually like doing. You can do things to keep me alive and shit. It's not the same.
Yeah. And I think it was a lot of fun because the sword moves um were more than I was expecting. Like there's a sword rush where you literally it would be like more akin to like a rapier but using a long sword where you're just flurrying forward a
Mm.
bunch, which is basically your conal in this case. Ooh, excuse me. I won't go too into the move kit. It just a lot of sword moves and then some spells. It's really neat. Played the War Dancer. I think combat wise, that was a lot more fun. I just don't have the utility. I like having utility,
Yeah.
but just as combat goes, I was having a blast. Just like going through groups with that because it's very like this move to this move to this move, and
Mm.
then this move's a combo move. So I hit this with the right timing 4 times in a row to do a combo on this guy, and I have this gap closer with jump and punch the ground, and really cool. Had a lot of fun with that one. And then I played I think it's called Summoner. The game has two casters. It's a like a bard and a summoner. I'm actually not fond of either, which really kind of sucks because in this style of gameplay, assuming it was a Diablo game, which we learned it's not,
Hmm.
I love casters in that setting. Their version of a caster is not the same version. I would assume most Western audiences would see as a caster. We figure fireball, lightning, ice spells. This is more like um, summon this guy and do this wind move here, and then summon these guys. It's definitely more of like a pet job, and I just yeah,
Interesting.
I wanted to throw lightning bolts at people's asses. So
Don't we all?
um, yeah, other than that, I would say it's gonna be free to play in March. And from what I saw in the store, though, you said people were calling it pay to win. I didn't see pay to win stuff in the store.
Yeah, I don't have details on that, but I was seeing a lot on Twitter, as I do, people complaining that there's somebody that I don't know, but they seem prominent from Twitch, something like that. This chick was saying like, she's like, is anybody gonna sit down and like talk about fucking that Lost Ark is pay to win? And I went through the comments and people were like dissecting, breaking down like why it's pay to win and shit, and I was just like, I don't know, I haven't seen it yet.
I'd have to see that.
I mean, maybe it is. I have no idea. I just I'm playing the beta, so I'm not worried about it, and it's free to play. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'd have to see what they were talking about. I didn't see that conversation, and then when I glanced in the store, I saw cosmetics. So
yeah, I mean, it seemed fine. I barely played, but from what I did play, nothing seemed. I mean, I forgot it was a free to play game. I didn't even look in the fucking shop.
yeah,
And outside of that, nothing was like, hey, you need this many rubies that you get one per day, but if you give us
right.
money, well, you can buy a pack of 20 of them.
Here's your battle
I didn't
pass.
see, yeah, I didn't see anything like that. So maybe there is. I didn't see it. I was too busy just playing it.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just
Sure.
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
So
I agree 100%. I have no idea what the fuck the argument was, but
um,
again, because that I'm playing a beta for a free to play game, that I'm not super invested in defending it or finding out stuff. I just, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, March. It's going on March. And then at which point I'll probably go a little harder on it. I don't want to burn out because I know if I play the beginning too many times, I'm just not going to want to do it again. So
That is the thing that like I haven't played it that much, but at the same time I've played enough to know that I like it. And even though I do want to play a little bit more, at the same time I've played so many betas in my life, and some of them I've played too much, and then the game comes out and I'm like, I don't even really want to play it. I feel like I've already played it.
yeah, I mean, I played enough to know that I'm going to play it.
Yeah,
So
100%. I mean,
uh,
I fucking paid money for it, so I'm
yeah,
definitely gonna play it. But yeah, I actually look forward to trying to get an MMO experience out of it
same, same.
with people.
Especially after the second or third character getting to the point me and you got to. I did that like so quick. The second, third, as every
Oh, dude, I
MMO
was
is.
flying through the
Yeah,
fucking beginning after I knew what to do and where to
yeah.
go and all that shit. I was like, I gotta get past this shit. I just want to play.
Yeah, it's funny how that's like every MMO is like that. The first time is like, and you're like
I gave the
zoom,
intro
zoom,
a
zoom.
good fucking nice, play through the first time. I went through and listened to everything, read everything, watched everything, went and looked for the quests and shit. And the second time, I'm like, I just need to get out there and start killing shit so I can level. So,
Let me hit things.
yeah.
Yeah,
Luckily, you can skip the prologue, which is really nice. Because it's pretty long. Um, so you can skip that. It's good. And then yeah, the beginning quests is like, if you're speeding through it, it takes like 10 minutes tops.
mm,
So it's not bad.
yeah. That's pretty much all I have on that one. Played Remnant with you. Can't talk about, but I will say, uh, I'm happy to be using a mouse.
Yeah, I when we're playing, I kept saying it, but I was like, I knew that it would make a big difference
Yeah.
because like when we played on console, I was like, I'm playing, and I'm like, man, I've played the shit out of this game on PC, and this is just not the same.
Yeah.
And you where every once in a while going like, oh god, I wish I could aim, wish I could aim. I'm like, you could aim on the mouse.
Yeah.
This game's got really tight fucking aiming.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
Um, I very casually played Loop Hero, but nothing to report there. I played some Minecraft. I haven't worked on a huge build, at least for me. Had to take a break though because I was actually wearing out my wrist playing that for too long.
the only time I've ever been injured playing a video game was Minecraft, and it's because
Well, my wrist hurts, so
and it's because and this is like very early on when Minecraft had first come out. It was like a big sensation. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you can build and
yeah,
do whatever the fuck you want." And me and a bunch of friends were like playing together, and we played nonstop for fucking at the least 24 hours. And the the small movements of my bottom of my wrist palm area against the desk rubbed my skin enough that it became sore.
oh, interesting. I was gonna say my sore spot is right here, but it's my muscles.
Yeah.
like my tendons or whatever right here. They're feeling worn out.
That is the only time I've been injured from gaming. But and it was so ridiculous. Then I was like, dude, my fucking wrist hurts from playing this shit.
You do use the mouse a lot in that game, though. So
Just minute fucking clicking, break,
yeah,
break.
constantly.
Just like constantly, and then like building stuff. My wrist is just doing this
Yeah,
constantly.
especially if you're like speed tunneling, because you'll like line up the line and then you're just left, right, left, right, left, right,
Yeah,
real
and
quick.
it's not the same with an FPS. My hands moving in bigger motions that I'm not just rubbing one spot on my fucking.
You know,
It's
wiggling.
really
Yeah.
weird. It's really weird.
So
Makes sense if you do it, though. But
yeah, so taking a break right now from that because I kind of wore my wore my wrist out on that. And then Animal Crossing 2.0 came out, and I wanted to try it. So after fighting with my Switch for a while to finally let me install the game, uh, I turned it on. My villagers remind me I haven't been, they didn't see me in a year and 4 months.
it's been that long.
Yeah. They were like, I haven't seen you in a year and 4 months. I thought you got abducted by aliens.
Given how things are nowadays, probably pretty fucking close to what happened.
Yeah. I haven't got to try the new stuff yet because when I hopped in, like Animal Crossing does, there was weeds everywhere, so I had to clean my town up. So that's all I've done so far. But I'm looking forward to trying the new features. So
Yeah, here there's a lot. That reminds me, there's a game I've been playing lately
hmm.
that I didn't add, but it's a Switch game because I was like, I've been playing my Switch lately too, but I don't know if I've been playing it.
Oh,
I've been like, man, I need to bust my fucking treadmill out, but I was like, I need to get back to moving around and getting some fucking workouts in, and so I started playing. I think it's called Fitness Boxing on Switch.
I think so.
And essentially, it's just songs, and you have to punch in patterns and stuff like that. But you're doing like uppercuts and jabs, and you're fucking ducking low to the left and right real quick. And like, it's a pretty workout. I do like fucking 40 minutes, 45 minutes, some shit like that.
You know, stuff like that comes out on Nintendo stuff.
My chest and my back and shit is just fucking. It's pretty decent workout for not using weights or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's just
feel the same thing about the one with the ring. So
it's just weird that that's what I've been doing on my Switch.
I mean, I would argue it's probably one of the better things you could be doing on a video game console right now.
But I think that's something that Nintendo for a while now has done a really good job with is, you know, Xbox try to do the whole Kinect thing and do motion stuff, and I think Nintendo's just done it more confidently to the point where like it's not even like gimmicky at this point. It's like you just have the option to do exercise shit
Yeah, the
with
Switch. Yeah,
Nintendo products. So anyway, you're talking about games you've been
I
playing.
mean, that was it.
That's it.
That was
That's
it.
all you've played.
Yeah,
Ooh, that was quick. All right.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, so let us know in the comments below. What games have you guys been playing? Kind of coinciding with game releases, anything that's come out that you're playing right now that you'd recommend us play? And did you play Lost Ark or have you played it in the past? What do you think about it? I know we have people in the community who have been excited for that game. Have you gotten a chance to play it? And if you haven't, what do you think about? Have we sold it to you? Have we made it you go, maybe I won't pick that up when it comes out? Let me know what you're thinking about when it comes to any of those games. But mostly Lost Ark. I'm curious about what you guys have to say. Let's know what you think about it in the comments below. Next video, only we're
Next video.
next video,
Next segment.
first video. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, that's fine.
First video. So there is a new Soulsborne game coming out. I found out about this like a fucking day or two ago, and I was like, "What is that?" And a bunch of other people are like, "What is this?" It is a game called Lies of P.
I hate the name.
Lies. I think me too. Lies of P. I'm sure a lot of you already know about what this is. Maybe you don't, but this is a Souls-like game, Soulsborne game. I've already watched this, but I kind of want to get what you think of it. This
You'd be
is
thrilled, I promise.
This is the official alpha gameplay teaser trailer. Well, I watched it on my phone too, so this will be a different experience watching it on a bigger screen.
Fair.
But even though I got the Z Fold 3, I got a pretty big screen on there, but it's not the same. Although the new Sony phone that has actual camera in it, it's got like a 4K screen. It's fucking like super fucking nice.
It's still this big.
Still feels so small. Just like fucking ugh. Anyway, Liza P. Soulsborne game. This is the official alpha gameplay teaser trailer, and interestingly enough, I think is worth throwing out there. This game is inspired by Pinocchio. It says, check out early alpha gameplay teaser for Lies of P, a Souls-like action RPG that is inspired by the original story of Pinocchio. Lies of P is on its way to PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC sometime in 2023. So, we're going to watch this, and I'm sure you don't have a lot to say on it. What do you think about a game that's a Souls-like game based off Pinocchio
I think if you're going to use
without seeing it?
I think if you're going to use a property that is based off a fairy tale, pretty much, it needs to be on the horror side.
Hopefully they do some Donkey Kid shit, because that shit was horrifying when I was a kid.
Well, I'm thinking even like like McGee's Alice, for example. Like,
Yeah, for sure. That's the first thing I thought of.
Horror
Yeah.
aspect to them fairy tales. I would hope for something like that. Because otherwise, were you just gonna like try not to lie the whole game and like
You're gonna spam lies and grow your fucking nose and stab people through the
kill
heart.
people?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking. Oh, what's wrong, Mick or Goofy? That's fucking Mickey
wrong
Mouse.
person?
Um,
Oh, we can't say that name.
I didn't say anything. It's a lie. Lies of P. All right, so we're gonna watch this. It's a good point. I agree. For the most part, although I feel like fairy tales being dark is like overplayed.
Well, what else are you gonna do though?
I know. I know. I agree 100%. I don't know what the other option is outside of just doing it fun and for kids or whatever,
Just turn it into Kingdom Hearts.
but like I feel like people get really into this idea that like, when they were kids, they heard all these fairy tales and shit, and then at some point when they're a teenager in their 20s, someone's like, "You know where that story really comes from? It's fucking dark." And then they're like, "Dude, did you know that this fairy tale's dark as shit, bro?" And then you get games, it's just dark, and it's like just feeds that loop. I'm like, let's do something else. Um, but I've never played a Pinocchio game outside of, wasn't there one for Sega or some shit?
I mean, there was pretty much everything on the 16-bit
Yeah,
era. So
they made a game for everything back then. Anyway, let's watch this. Let's have a conversation after it. This is Liza P. Let's go. Know those companies? No, I don't. No, I don't.
I think we're getting the dark stuff.
Oh yeah. When you get max level, you become a real boy.
Still kind of cool.
It looks good.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's a really good looking game.
And Geppetto's been busy.
It's like some Souls-like games just kind of borrow some shit. This game looks like it's straight up a Souls-like game, but with this aesthetic.
Yeah. I'll say it's creepy so far.
Wake up, son.
Action's good too.
Yeah. No, it's completely.
That sword is wild.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I do like. I like the aesthetic of the game. I think it looks cool. The clothing, the buildings. And the combat looks cool. The graphic hook was neat. See him actually break the guy's weapon. I hate that game. I can't get past it. Like, because I think the game looks fucking solid. Like, it looks unashamed in how much it is inspired by Dark Souls, but it looks like it's doing it confidently.
Yeah. So, yeah. Visually, I'm like actually more impressed because I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting nothing. So
So I wanted to talk about the Pinocchio thing before you saw what it looked like, because I wanted to know what you like, what that could even mean.
yeah, I mean, I expected it to go dark anyways because what else are you
Yeah.
gonna do, right? But I think they actually nailed it pretty good because it is dark, obviously. Ow. But they,
You're right.
yeah, bit the inside of the mouth.
Ah,
Um, they definitely kind of nailed like a creepy, eerie vibe though, which I think is super appropriate when you're doing a bunch of like automatons essentially.
mhm.
Like that scene right there, that is like almost reminiscent of like,
BioShock.
yeah, Bioshock's a good example for sure. I was gonna say Silent Hill, but
Oh, cool.
because the twitchy nurse is a
Yeah.
Reaper, but not visually. Obviously, it doesn't have that like weird
Well,
like
like
film
look
grain
at
thing going on. But
look at these environments, man. They're fucking good looking.
no, the graphics are great. The
Yeah.
animations are great. The combat looks pretty smooth. It's a little pausy, but so is most Souls games. So
Yeah.
minus like the newest ones, but um, yeah. I mean, something I'll play? No, but it looks cool, and I think if it offers something that the genre doesn't offer, because it's gonna have to. Well, I guess it doesn't have to. It just has to be a solid game, right? So I don't know. I'll be interested to see how well it does. I do think they should copyright a new name though.
I agree. I'm sure if the game's just awesome, nobody's gonna be talking about that name ever
Sure,
again
sure.
because they're just gonna be like, "Lies of Peace, sick, bro." But
Yeah.
it's I hate it. Like I honestly think it's a really stupid name
Well, even as
for a
a
game.
abbreviation, it's awful because then it's LOP.
Just lopping people's fucking heads off. Um, yeah, so we don't have to talk about it anymore. But yeah, the name does not flow off the tongue. It's not very intriguing, and calling him P when you're influenced by Pinocchio, it just seems like, okay, lies of Pinocchio, cool. He lies, his nose gets big, blah 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 blah. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I agree. I think the game looks really good. I have this pause like an asshole. I think the game looks really good, but on top of that, a lot of games look really good. I think the animations and the combat look good, and the combat's important because like a
Mhm.
lot of Souls-like games, especially early on, did not have good combat. They just were trying to be unforgiving, but they weren't that fun to fucking play. Obviously Neo and a couple other games, did away with that whole thing. But like even the Surge was a cool concept and I enjoyed it, but the combat wasn't that good. It was stiff. It felt like shit compared to that. So seeing this, like I said, this is obviously inspired, but it looks like it's doing it in a way that is I'm gonna fucking play it and probably enjoy the combat of it. So that's all they really need to nail. The aesthetic is really interesting visually. It is something that definitely is more my style. I really enjoy the way the weapons look, the way the people are dressed. The environments look really fucking cool. Kind of realistic, but also kind of fantasy esque, very big and crazy looking.
Mhm.
I am curious though about the Pinocchio influence, and not in a negative or positive way, but like, is this like a revenge story where like Geppetto's fucking killed and you're like trying to avenge him, or whatever, or is
Is
this?
Geppetto and Pinocchio went wild?
I mean, the person says, "Wake up, son." I assume is him. Um, but is some way like trying to become human in some kind of dark way? Um, I mean, I could see that being an interesting story, being like these guys and not wanting to be. Um, I don't know if lies are gonna take place in the game in any way, or if he did tell lies in the game, and there's some kind of redemption arc here. I don't know what they're doing when it comes to Pinocchio. There's nothing there that sounds that interesting to me, but they could maybe do something interesting with it. It doesn't look like they're leaning too hard into making it a Pinocchio story like we expect, but a story that, like they say, is inspired by
Yeah,
it.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
um, I'm curious. I don't know how they do that, but it's not that intriguing to me. Maybe it will be once I play. Maybe the story will be awesome. I don't know, but the gameplay's looking good. The combat's looking good. The animations look really good. The graphics are really fucking good. This game's quality is way higher than what I expect, and for me personally, it is gameplay wise intriguing. I do
Mhm.
want to play this. In fact, unless I see gameplay come out for this that makes it look horrible later, I would probably pick this up as of now seeing this. Everything about it looks like something I would definitely play. So, um, I just hate the name.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on it?
Nope.
All right. Well, let us know, and this is going to be very short. Let us know in the comments, what do you guys think of Lies of P? Let's break it down. What do you think about the name? Do you like the name? Do you think it works? Do you not give a shit? You're like, it's not that big deal. Or do you love it? You're like, bro, fuck it. I grew up on Pinocchio, dude, and he told lies. His nose got big. It's the lies of P, bro. Like Pinocchio. Are you
It's
like
not
super
that deep, man.
you super into some people do. Some people get wild with this shit. We think about the gameplay. Are you possibly, are you somebody's like, do we need another Souls game? Like, how many more do we need? Maybe one of them. Or maybe you're like, dude, this is looking like a high ass quality fucking Soulsborne game, Souls like game. I'm down to play it. Let me know, what you're thinking, and what do you want from this game? Do you want it to just be another Souls game, or are you hoping something else will come from it? Do you hope the nose grows really long, where you fucking impale people with it? I do. Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Lies of P. What do you think of the name? Let me know. What do you think? I gotta know. All right, next video. I guess the last video was a next video. This is Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker launch trailer. This, I think, was the launch trailer for the original launch date, but it's still a launch trailer.
Updated date.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And this is going to show some stuff for Endwalker, the expansion to Final Fantasy XIV that is still coming out this year. And I'm sure it's going to have a lot of stuff flashing, and I'm not going to have any context, but I'm sure I'm going to love everything I see.
No, I think it's important to note that because it's a launch show, this is like advertisement material.
Yeah.
Um,
Comments are turned off. Goddamn.
Square doesn't have comments, likes, or dislikes available.
They don't even want to fuck around with social media. That's fine with me.
Nope.
Dude.
If you want to talk to me, you have to go to forums.
You go to the back alleys to talk to us.
Pretty much. I'm going to just say this right now. If you are playing 14, you're worried about spoilers, they are here. So this is your spoiler warning. If you're not spoiler sensitive, or you don't play frequently, like someone I know, the context is going to be lost. So the spoilers are going to go.
And by the time I play it, I will not remember what I saw.
Yeah. So that being said, that's the warning I'm giving you now. Spoiler warning. From this point on.
And you've watched this, so
multiple times.
At least people who are here for Final Fantasy XIV stuff possibly know that you are a huge fan of the series or the game. You play it regularly-ish now.
Taking a break at the moment.
Yeah. And so we will definitely get your thoughts on the trailer as a whole after we watch it.
I mean, I'm more interested in yours, obviously, because I do think
sure.
As a trailer, obviously, not as a piece of Final Fantasy, but
this is a long trailer too, which I kind of expect at this point from a Square Enix game, I guess.
The other thing I'm gonna say is the trailer's not over until it's over.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, we ready to watch this?
Always.
All right. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Also, the music's awesome.
Oh, I kind of already simmed.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux.
In flux.
Have a safe journey, and please, be careful.
That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent. And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Maybe we don't belong here. But neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold.
That blue will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Walk free and bear the light for others to follow.
Call back to Final Fantasy 110. Anima from Final Fantasy 10.
Oh yeah.
Come. Let me relieve you of your burden. You've suffered enough.
The sky burns. The final days are truly upon us.
Dang. He's thick.
Bereft of hope,
A thick boy.
and now dignity. 'Twas a grand, glorious stream we shed.
This is some berserk shit.
Yeah. No, it's really eerie.
I'm getting some fucking Eclipse PTSD right now.
But our only choice is to flee.
We've come too far to back down now. Wheresoever there is suffering and despair, you appear to fulfill your duty.
Where
as
I'm getting
defender
berserk
of this
vibes from
star.
some of this.
There must be a way to restore things to the way they were. To reclaim the perfect paradise we once had.
It will be ours again. A world free of sorrow.
Let the curtains fall upon this, the final chapter in the tale of the star.
Music at the end was very good.
Oh yeah, I get chills every time.
Yeah. Did a really good job transitioning into that.
To have you at my side, it means more to me than you know. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Given what lies ahead, I did not wish to leave for later that which I could do today. After all, tomorrow is never promised.
Is that it?
That's it.
The whole thing? No, it was a very good trailer. It started out, and I know how they do their trailers though. Is it playing music? I'm gonna get in trouble for that music.
No, theirs is loud.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, especially with a lot of the advertising for Endwalker so far, it seems like they start out with like some chill music and then go kind of crazy with it or whatever. But I've also noticed that with other Final Fantasy XIV trailers are like that. But yeah, in the beginning I was like, okay, but then it got really fucking good, like pretty intriguing. I'm like, what Final Fantasy is this? Why haven't I played this one yet? Yeah, it was a good trailer. Definitely, like we keep talking about, shows the stakes are high. Feels like there's, a big end game here happening. I did like a lot of the darker stuff that is so Japanese in the designs, but like reminded me a lot of Berserk. I've seen designs similar to that in other like anime and stuff like that too, though, where there's like this disturbing look to like demon type things that they got going on, and a lot of the red sky eclipse stuff reminded me a lot of Berserk, which
Especially with the black orbs in the sky.
exactly. I was just like, I love that. So visually, it's very cool looking. Also, kind of creeped me out because when you see stuff like that in Japanese stuff, I'm like, this ain't good.
Yeah.
This is bad shit. I wish, although I don't, because I'm not there yet, I wish the character stuff meant more to me, because I know this is like impactful shit going on here. But it is wasted on me because I'm not caught up in the story, so I don't know what's going on. But in a way, that's probably good that I'm not too far in the story where I'm like, wait, what happens? It is cool to see stuff, nods from like you said 4 and 10, but I haven't seen Anima. for a long time. I forgot about that fucking summon. So it is interesting to see that in anything, let alone an MMO. Um, and yeah, overall is really cool to watch. I really would like to revisit this game soon, but right now I can't even plan on playing anything that's not like a priority right now. Um, in November, December, because there's games I gotta fucking play to know if they're on my list or not for game of the year. But I do have a game plan next time I revisit this game. I want to try different classes because it's not something I haven't explored 14 as much as I have any other MMO. So it's weird that I haven't. Um, yeah, I mean, what do you think of this trailer? You're playing it. I know you're excited for Endwalker. Did this trailer do it for you as a launch trailer?
I actually, this trailer is a lot better for me than the last trailer. And
I
the last
agree.
trailer was really good,
Yeah.
but this one, especially with context, they definitely want you to feel that the stakes are the highest they've ever been because it is literally the end of days.
Yeah.
Like it's now or never, like,
Hmm.
or else everything's gone. So
They definitely convey that in the trailer.
yeah,
Uh,
and it's been a long build up to this point.
mhm.
Even for you, it's not really like spoilers, but the scene where it shows like the busted up city with the huge like spiky structure, that's Garlemald. That's where the Empire's from. It's
Mm,
destroyed now.
interesting.
So, because they basically went into civil war, and then the end of days is starting, and yeah.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah. The only thing I don't like, and people keep talking about it, because I guess in Final Fantasy IV, there's some nods, because this is very heavily Final Fantasy IV themed.
Hmm.
Um, there's twins in Final Fantasy IV, and bad things happen to them. There's twins in this game, and then at the end here, Alphino is like death flagging like a motherfucker while he's talking. Like this whole part where he shows all of his friends while he's talking
Hmm.
about like last chances. That's I'm like, oh my god, you're not gonna fucking kill him, are you? So I'm like kind of like freaking out about that.
We will find out. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy, man. They're gonna kill somebody.
I do think someone's gonna die in this expansion.
100%. I don't even. I'm not even playing. I know that. It's
Yes.
if this is a conclusion of a Final Fantasy story, they're gonna kill somebody. Like they're not. Final Fantasy doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
They'll
I
kill
don't know.
off their main character.
I'm uh I'm also like, and I think a lot of people who've been playing since 2.0 especially, or even 1.0 I guess, but 2.0 specifically when the game became more accepted.
Mm,
Um this is the story that's ending at this point. After this they
yeah.
have to start over. And so like after this, because I'm sure this will be great,
Mm,
but what's next? That's the big question.
yeah.
And like, as much as I can watch this and get excited for it, in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, but what are you gonna do next?
Yeah, because I mean, like anybody's playing this or any MMO, they know they're not just going to end the MMO. But some people out there who might not have any reference to Final Fantasy 14 or MMOs in general, this story is going to conclude, but they got to carry on the service essentially at the base minimum. The MMO has to continue.
Especially with the OCP talking about like looking ahead for the next 10 years still.
Exactly.
So,
So, even though the story that you've been building this whole time is going to conclude, that doesn't mean a new arc won't start.
yeah.
In which it 100% is gonna. So, but you don't know what's gonna be, especially because you're invested in this story. Where's this one going? Um, so yeah, it's interesting you bring up being concerned about characters or whatever though, because obviously that means you're invested in them,
Yeah.
which is good to know. Because as far as I am into the game, I'm not super invested in any of the characters. Although there was a scene I thought was really cool.
So it's really funny the part that you're in the game because so many people have just started this year. So I've got to watch multiple people go through the story at this point.
Yeah.
About the point you're at is where people start like actually going, oh, the characters aren't just like random character, and they
Yeah,
start
100%.
to
In the vanilla content, it does feel as though they're Final Fantasy themed NPCs.
yeah.
That there's some stuff going on, but about the same as like if you run up to a random character in a normal single player Final Fantasy and talk to them, they're like, "Yeah, I lost my brother," blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like I'm just gonna go talk to someone else. And there's a couple cutscenes towards the end of where I was at. that started showing some personality and some stakes. And I was like, oh, okay, there's some sacrifice going on here. That's interesting.
Through the course of Heaven's Ward, like most of your allies aren't there, so like
Yeah.
you only really get to spend time with Alpha now.
Yeah, some characters are starting to get introduced. I recognized some characters that showed at the end that I just met
Yeah.
and where I'm at in the game. So it's interesting they're still around.
Yep.
Because I didn't know if they were going to be temporary or if they're now characters, and it seems like they are now characters in the story. So, which is cool because that's one thing that kind of felt like it was missing where I'm at in the game as well. Is like you are just kind of hanging out with like two people, and then you kind of stop by and say hi to a couple people.
Yeah, the first expansion definitely wants you to have that like bleak alone feel.
Yeah.
And then you go into Stormblood, and the story gets a little weaker, but it does a lot of good world building.
Mm.
And then Shadowbringers is just a masterpiece, but so this has a lot to live up to in that regard too. But I think they'll do it. So
I think they're going to do it too. I've only heard better and better things about their expansions, so which is great because typically MMO expansions can be very hit or miss.
100%.
Yeah, so that they are really going all in on this story being a huge centerpiece to the progression of the expansions, and it seems to be satisfying for people, is really cool.
They also constantly expand their social features, which is huge.
I was gonna say, I know like they add classes and all that stuff, new locations. Do they add like how like WoW comes out and like an expansion for WoW comes out and like there's some like new feature and people either love it or they fucking hate it and they want them to change it back.
WoW only releases in-game content. They don't do features anymore.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Some new end game content that people are going to grind out on, but like they don't like it or they don't like how it changed things. And this isn't me trying to bring up WoW for any reason
for sure.
outside of like as an example. Does Final Fantasy XIV have new features?
The rating scene doesn't change.
Okay.
It is set in stone. It's not broke. They don't fix it, and the community's fine with that. It seems like what they do instead is they add extra stuff outside of the main progression to do when you're not raiding or for the more casual people, because as anyone who like actually pays attention to MMOs realizes 85% of the player base is casual.
Yeah, I believe that.
So they're the ones paying the bills, and you got to make them want to be there. And I think that's where one game is weak and why people are not happy with it anymore, because the majority of the people who play aren't interested in the hardcore live-in dynamics. Like I have to do this every day to progress for raiding. And the people who are into that, they're getting the stuff they want, but even, it's becoming more chore-like. Versus like 14, it has that stuff, but it's never as much of it. Like the ease of access is, or barrier to access is much lower. And then, like in this expansion, for example, they're adding, it's called Island Sanctuary, and it's a zone that is literally a slow living game mode where you can have your minions run around.
Oh yeah,
your chocobo can run around. You get a house to decorate.
That's cool.
It's literally like inspired by Animal Crossing. They pretty much said. They also warned they're not Animal Crossing. They haven't spent years and years and years developing it, so don't expect a lot. But it is just another social thing because you can have people can visit.
That's something I think more MMOs should be doing, is that kind of like home fucking show off the things you've achieved, have things to do there, social type features.
Actually, speaking of that, this is a little side note. During the media tour, one of the interviews with the OSGP game director, in case you don't know, asked him, basically like where his inspiration comes from, and Yoshi actually said he plays Call of Duty as well. So he's like, I pull inspiration from everything I play. He's like, I play MMOs, I played Ultima Online, I played EverQuest, I played WoW, blah blah blah. He's like, but I also play games like Call of Duty, blah blah blah.
Interesting.
They're adding in 14. I thought it was funny after these interviews to see this. You know how in Call of Duty, like everything you do unlocks like different things for your nameplate?
Yeah.
They're adding nameplates with customizable features and stuff like that in this expansion.
Smart. Those little things fucking matter, dude.
You can
Like,
put your achievements on a name plaque now.
that's awesome.
You were saying something.
That's no, that's I don't remember. I just think that is it's cool. He's drawing inspiration from other things like that, and those little things are interesting because they're not. No one's playing Call of Duty for that, but it does add to the. Oh, I got this. I can kind of add to the flair of my character or whatever. All these little things kind of add to, I guess, maybe feeling at home playing something because you've been putting work into this and now you have more ways to show it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a cool little thing they're adding.
They're also adding a new PvP mode.
Interesting.
Because they're trying to. This is a test, but they're basically trying to like soft reboot PvP, and if it works, they'll probably roll it out to the rest of PvP. But just because people have basically said like it's the weakest part of the game.
I've never even heard anybody like talk it up, and anytime I bring it up, I expect somebody to go, "Well, no, the PvP is actually like." I don't even get that.
It's
I
okay.
tell them they're like, pretty much.
But
then at the same time, I think of everyone I know who plays Final Fantasy XIV, and I think of people who typically are drawn to Final Fantasy in general, and not to generalize too much, but none of them really scream to me highly competitive. I want to go do PvP type people. Like most of them either want to play a game for their story or they want to socialize with their friends.
Well, I think the big problem with 14 PvP that it can't attract people who are into that either because it doesn't have a solidly competitive version.
Yeah,
it has huge, large scale 72 player PvP, which is not what people into PvP are after. They want more like
weird.
Small group versus each other, go up a scoreboard type thing. The other mode is more like a MOBA, where it's two teams, but then there's resources you collect to make robots that you can help push points, break crystals, get to their. It's MOBA.
That's pretty.
And
cool.
it's fun, but it's also not what PvP people are looking for. So it doesn't get played. This new mode is like there's a path, and then there's like almost like a payload is the only way I can think to word it right now. But you fight there, and then it pushes towards, and you're trying to get it to the end of the road for your team, basically. But it is 5v5, so it's small scale.
Okay.
And then they're getting rid of job-specific roles. So like healers aren't like necessarily healers, but they'll have an ultimate move which leans into the heal role. But everyone basically is going to be. Stats and stuff like that are going to be completely just made for PvP. Everyone's going to be a damage dealer pretty much. And then you'll have a move to identify your character.
So almost like heroes in a hero shooter.
Yeah, they're simplifying it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
So.
At least they're trying something. That is something I was talking with someone about recently is like balancing for PvP and PvE in the same game is pretty rough. So most of the time, I think people just need to separate the two when it comes to balance.
Which they already did.
Yeah, like don't balance PvE content for the PvP stuff. You need to just have a separate thing where you go into PvP and the balance is different.
Yeah.
A lot of games do it, some games don't, and I just think it's smarter that way. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it's received because they really are kind of just like redoing it.
Well, that works and people like it. They can make other modes with a similar system of like, have like an ultimate, but everything's still PvP. Everyone's a damage dealer situation.
Yeah, and then the other complaint was PvP didn't really have rewards.
That's the big thing. The reason why I haven't really played it when I played Final Fantasy XIV, because I was like, if I'm not working towards something and the PvP is like meh, according to most people,
there's stuff to buy, but it's not a lot.
It should be, and I know the community's not PvP centric mostly, but it'd be a lot more exciting if there was more things to work towards.
Oh, so they're adding. Hold your breath a second. They're adding a battle pass. There's no pay for version, and rewards don't disappear forever. They come back as purchasable things after the battle pass ends.
Okay.
So you can still get them later. Because my big concern was FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Because that's not a way to make fun. Because then people feel like they have to instead of they want to.
Oh, yeah.
You can be in there every day, build up that battle pass, but once that battle pass is gone, the rewards don't disappear. They just become purchasable items later. So you can take your PvP currency and buy them. So you don't miss out. You just don't get them that week or that season or whatever.
Gotcha.
So
it's interesting. kind of off topic, but when it comes to battle passes, not really. Deep Rock Galactic has a new update that came out that had 4 new guns, which means 4 new ways to progress because they have skill trees and shit. They add a new mode to that, but they're also adding or added a battle pass, which at first is like, ugh, why don't do that? But I don't know if it's pay for it. I didn't find anything about paying for it anywhere.
Yeah, the 14 one,
But
there's no premium version.
but they did in the trailer I watched really specify that anything that you miss in this battle pass, you'll be able to access later.
It's the same idea.
They
Okay.
haven't explained how you're going to be able to do it, but they're just letting people know that you're not going to miss out on it if you don't hop in, which I appreciate because people. I think the most respectful battle pass I've ever seen in a game ever is oddly RDO's because it's only 25 levels and you can knock it out in like 3 days, and it gives you back the gold you paid, which is not that weird because other games have done that. But it's at that point you're just buying the gold you purchased to get it and get back, and then getting rewards for it. It's just a way for them to get you to buy gold essentially, but
Yeah.
and give you cosmetics and shit. But yeah, it completely respects your time. My biggest problem with battle royales, fucking battle passes is they want you to know life their game
Yeah.
all month. And as much as if I'm really into a game, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm already fucking leveling anyway, so might as well. Unless I decide to only fucking, like I did it 1 month with Dead by Daylight. And, I was stoked to get all the stuff I unlocked. But I was like, dude, I had to play this a lot to fucking get through this battle pass. I fucking hate that.
Sure.
It's insulting because they're like, you need to only play our game. Otherwise, you don't get all the shit. And then it disappears.
And that was my concern when they showed the picture of it. I was like, uh-oh. But then he was very specific. He was like, "This, you're not going to miss out. You can still play the game casually. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't want you to feel like you have to be playing every day." So,
Yeah, it's a good way to burn you out. Like after that battle pass with Dead by Daylight, I stopped playing after that. And it's not because I obviously like Dead by Daylight a lot. I think it's a really fun game. But playing it nonstop to try and I'm gonna get to the fucking end of this battle pass, and then I did. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this game for fucking months now.
yeah.
So-
Yeah, it's just not, it's... I think we're seeing a lot more people start to realize that the
hope so.
respect of people's time
Yep. People got shit to do.
is
Dude.
the longevity of your game, because people might like buy in for the first month, but after that they might not come back. And I think games like specifically as we've brought up in the past, like Path of Exile, and I'm going to use Final Fantasy XIV as an example, they know that it's okay for people to leave. You just have to give them a reason to come back every once in a while. So
For sure. Yeah. Anything else?
no, I mean, that song at the end, and I'm sure it's one of many versions of the theme song because they do
Yeah.
that every expansion. I love that version. It is so intense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I recognized the song. I was gonna say when we're watching, I liked this this version of it.
yeah, because we got the female singer in the other trailer.
Yeah, I just
So-
it has an epic sound to it. It sounds
Yeah.
like a finale song. It's and I'm a sucker for anything that's like dramatic sounding musically. So I've really enjoyed that rendition of it.
Yeah, I the entire community says it enough, but Soken is amazing, man. Like, Square's lucky to have the guy. So,
Yeah, definitely. Anything else?
no.
Excited?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if there's anything I will be excited for, it's definitely this.
Yeah.
So I've invested years into playing this game at this point. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get enough time to hop back into Final Fantasy XIV and try and learn more about the game to get more invested in it. 'Cause a lot of times I feel like I am visiting and I feel like I am just asking questions and getting them answered. And like I was thinking about it, I'm like, dude, when I play MMOs, that's not typically the situation I'm in. Normally I fucking learn the game, I start playing it. And with Final Fantasy XIV, I don't feel like 100% like comfortable with it yet, which is so weird because I've played it off and on for years. So yeah, I want to hop in there, sample the classes. It's one of the only MMOs I haven't gone through and tried out different classes a whole lot. I've played like 3 of them.
Well, the amount of people in our circle playing it now too, it'd be really easy to not even in the regard of like asking questions, like, but like you wouldn't have to necessarily need me, at that moment either. Like if I wasn't available, you could literally just go in Discord and be like, "Hey, question," and like
Yeah.
three people would probably be able to answer.
That's
really
just
quick.
typically not even the way I play MMOs though. Like normally I play a lot of MMOs on my own because other people aren't playing it that I know. And so like I go through and I play and I try out the classes, find ones I like and shit. And so I haven't really done that in 14. I just kind of landed on Monk and I really enjoy it. And then I had some interest in Machinist or whatever the fuck, and then
This is great.
and I enjoy that one. But then after we watched that action, whatever
Job
the hell,
action trailer.
job action trailer, there was some class in there that I was like, why haven't I tried that? It's because you have to earn classes in 14. You have to do certain prerequisites to unlock them, so it's not as accessible as other MMOs, and I just haven't gone and done that. So I should do that so I can try out ones and maybe find one that I fucking really like. Because pretty much all I know in 14 is Monk and some Machinist, but like I'm way more familiar with Monk.
Yeah, and I would also say, and not in like a way like, oh well, you shouldn't do that because it's complicated. But I think melee in 14 is the hardest thing to play, the hardest thing. So
Yeah. I haven't really found any difficulty in combat, but
it's just the hardest to optimize your damage and raids versus
Yeah.
other classes.
I enjoyed Monk because it's more involved, and a lot of MMOs combat can feel not involved. So I appreciated at least with the earlier build of Monk, I guess a lot of the positional movements and stuff like that
That's melee in general. Yeah.
was really cool. So yeah, I definitely want to revisit the game and possibly just make a fucking just try and at least beat the fucking expansion I'm in at the very
Especially
least.
because it's like the second best one.
Yeah.
Like the story, especially towards the
I gotta
end
get
of
past
it.
that fucking island place, man.
Sea of Cloud?
I hate running around there.
I heard someone, I think Preach, today was saying he didn't like that zone at all.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate every time I go back there. I'm like, oh my god, dude!
I don't
fucking
like
hate this place.
revisiting it. It was cool the first time though.
It's neat looking, but like the layout of it is really annoying to navigate. And I'm sure when you can fly, it's fucking
Oh yeah,
a whole new
It-
fucking
it's
thing.
still slow.
But yeah, it's just too like hallway to this area, dead end there, run back here and around here, up there, and yeah, I just don't like the layout of
I think
it.
the big thing too with Heaven's Ward is because that's when they introduce flying. The zones are huge.
Yeah, I mean I can see that. It makes sense.
So they kind
They
of
do
get a better
seem
balance
bigger.
later.
Yeah.
Stormblood has a couple big zones and then a couple reasonable size, and then I think Shadowbringers the zone sizes are perfect, and I think they should probably stay about that size.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I'll have to hop back in. You're stoked. Let us know in the comments what do you guys think about the Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker launch trailer. Has this got you excited for Endwalker? Were you already excited for it? If you're already playing it, I'm sure you are or have been. If you don't play it, does this do anything for you? Does it make you want to play it? Or if you played in the past, does it make you want to return to it? And what are you hoping for from the Endwalker expansion? Are you excited for the conclusion of this story arc? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Also, let me know your thoughts on the delay. Has it influenced any negative or positive thoughts? Are you cool with it or you not? Yeah, let me know everything you think about. All right, it's that time again where we reflect on prior episodes and read your comments. If you want your comment for sure to be read, type in hashtag AskTLG. Otherwise, I pick at random, although we only have 2 comments to read this episode, which is fine because I'm starting to lose my energy. I'm tired, baby, tired. Okay, so we did a reaction to Elden Ring, the very, very it has a lot of people excited game, Elden Ring. We watched the official gameplay overview of that, so if you'd like to see our reactions to that for the first time us watching it, make sure to go check that out. And yeah, we got a couple comments. First one is from Maneki Neko saying, how awesome this looks makes February seem so far away now. Can I just hibernate for 2 months? I feel it. Yeah, sometimes I'm ready for time to go fast. I'm like, can we skip these months? But imagine all the dope ass games you would miss if you did hibernate for those months. But yeah, the game is looking fucking awesome. I can't wait for February as well. Although I kind of can wait because 2022 is going to be so fucking jam packed with so many fucking games, so many high tier, high quality AAA and not AAA games that I want to play so bad that I'm going to be bitching throughout all next year about how I don't have even more so don't have time to fucking play these games. Luckily, Elden Ring will be coming out early in the year, so I will have a lot of the year to get my fill in that game. But man, if there's not a game that has been delayed into infinity or has been told it's going to come out in 2025, they're all coming out next year. Everything, all the highest hyped games are coming out in 2022, and this is one of them. So I'm trying to savor, even though I feel rushed now playing games. I gotta get ready for next year too. So
Yeah.
I think I can wait it out. But it's coming out soon. I mean, like it's really around the corner. So I think you can wait. I think you got this.
I think it'll go by faster than you think.
Oh yeah.
So
Especially at our age, dude. Fucking these days are going by quick. Have anything to add to that?
that was it.
All right, perfect. Thank you for the comment, Maneki Neko. And yeah, we'll be playing Elden Ring sooner than you think. We got a comment from Writer's Block. His name is just Writer's Block now. Good to hear from you, by the way. Hopefully everything is good. He says, basically Dark Souls 3 plus its Cinders mod, plus Convergence mod, plus Sekiro, plus the soundtrack of Bloodborne, plus a world that looks as backwards and wretched as anything out of FromSoft. I'm here for it. I do wonder if we'll have emergent moments. Will dragons randomly ambush and such, or it's map game where you just clear out areas with set enemy spawns and you don't encounter anything outside of that? I'm also curious about that. The last part you kind of allude to almost sounds like Far Cry. Sounds like an Ubisoft game, which I would almost not like. One thing I didn't like, though, they're reusing a lot of animations from their previous games and even sound effects. Not necessarily a fan of that. Those clunky finishers are getting old, and so are the over-the-top sounds when you stab someone. Look at Demon Souls remake. They definitely should have taken inspirations. Thoughts?
Only that I think the finisher / sound effects thing is obviously very subjective because I love it and I don't even play the games.
Yeah.
But I think it does what it's supposed to do, which is give you a moment of like impact. So, but I could see maybe wanting to change it up. The Demon Souls remake is an interesting one just because like obviously that was made by someone else. So, they did a great job, don't get me wrong, and I would love for them to remake a bunch of other games at this point. They definitely showed that they can do it. So, but yeah, I don't know anything about these mods you're talking about, and hopefully, with the bosses, if they are in set areas, hopefully it's at least on cinematically at that point. I don't want it to be like like kill X amount of people for bosses to show up. That'd be really lame. Hopefully it's just like you show up and this like set piece happens, and because at least then it's cinematic. So
yeah. I also don't know much about the mods you're talking about, but I do agree that it is a wide amalgamation of a lot of things. It's hard, even when I did that reaction, it's hard for me to pinpoint what exactly this game is because it's obviously something new, but it obviously is taking from a lot of the things they've done in prior games. And every time I go to talk about that with anybody, it's hard to put my finger on it. It's got a fucking certain je ne sais quoi about it that like feels so familiar, like all From Software games do nowadays, but also feels pretty different too. And again, I think it is just like all these different factors, all these different influences from games they've done in the past that all feel familiar, but the mixture of all those and some of the newer elements to this game, like I said in that reaction video, it seems a lot more higher fantasy, makes for something that feels familiar but also feels different. With that said, though, I do agree that regardless of if they are absolutely repurposed animations and sound effects or if they're something that's just similar. I mean, you might be onto something. I don't know. It could be the exact same animations and sound effects, or it could be something very, very similar. I think both those things are they're hit or miss because it adds this ecosystem to the From Software games where it feels like home. It feels like you're getting into. Oh, these animations remind me of that last game I love so much, and the sound effect. But at the same time, too, I think when I talk about how these games feel very similar to each other, and I love them all, but they don't feel like they deviate too far from each other. Those are factors in feeling like you are having an experience that is you've already had. So as much as I don't mind if they reuse sound effects and animations, I would like them to try something different. I would like them to explore new avenues to see what they could offer. I mean, like these guys, I don't know if these specific people working on this, but like From Software made fucking, Armored Core. It's a very different game. And I've seen people talking about if they brought Armored Core back, they would want it to be a Soulsborne. I'm like, what? Why? No, don't do that. Like, we
Yeah.
don't need more of that. I want like traditional fucking Armored Core back.
The only thing I'd even want them to take from the lessons they've learned from the Souls games would just be making things feel impactful, like hits and stuff like that, but also just the hitbox stuff. I would love to see like just
Oh, the hitbox stuff is really good, and it makes the game feel outside the camera, fucking you sometimes makes the game feel like fair.
yeah.
Because you can dodge that move. It wasn't like a hitbox problem. The point I'm bringing up Armored Core though is like they have made very different games than what they're making now, and not that I want them to completely change their formulas that are working so well, and they are changing them, but they're like evolving them. I would like to see them try something that seems fucking out of the box for them, and they're not going to do that if they are using similar animations or the same animations or similar sound effects or the same sound effects. So as much as it's safe, and I don't think most people are going to complain, I also think that yeah, I mean, I agree. I'd like them to do new things. I mean, I don't want to say it's lazy, but it would be more commendable if they were, using new stuff, doing new stuff. Though I'm not the type of person who thinks everybody needs to innovate every time they make anything new. There are people out there like that. I'm like, well, what's innovating? That's a slow evolution nowadays. It's an amalgamation of different things that innovate nowadays. It's not one person with a brand new idea. It's very, very rare. I digress. Not a fan of those clunky finishers. Yeah, I think they had a time and a place for sure. I would like to see something a little more modern, but I think it's acceptable because this is what we assume we're getting from a From Software game now. But I agree with you 100%. And then yeah, I mean, I already talked about it in our reaction video, but I do wonder also about the dragons. Are they random? Are they set pieces? And are zones cleared, or do enemies respawn and refill and repopulate? It is a fantasy game, so I wouldn't be surprised if something is summoning these things, which would be a good way to just respawn enemies. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they do that. It would be interesting, though, if you can clear areas like a Far Cry game. There's like an encampment area and you go through and kill everything there. But then when you use, I forget what they're called in this, but like the bonfire, will it just reset them? That would be very at home with what they do already. So that'd just be really interesting for them to do that in a open world game. I'd be curious on how they handle that. But yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of things you're saying here, and I don't know anything about these mods, but I'm sure I should Google them, and I appreciate the breakdown of your thoughts on that, because you bring up some really good points, specifically with the animations and the sound effects. It's an interesting take, specifically when these type of games come up, and I love them, but you only hear positives, which is great. Like, I'm glad people love them and stuff, but it is cool to hear a light critique on things. No game's infallible except for Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, Really good breakdown. Anything else you want to add? All right. Well, thank you everybody who commented on this video, and future videos. You want to comment on this video, we'll read on the next one. And if you want to be first in line and for sure read, type in hashtag AskTLG in your comment. Otherwise, we pick at random. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 152. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our socials and our streams. Links down below. I do plan on doing some streams again here soon. And yeah, you can check us out on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel, more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. Chevy, thank you for joining me on this Tasty Cast. And yeah, I've been Seth. Until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.